Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of If Supr Says It. Today I'm joined by Forrest, the not necessarily support, but a player on Astralis. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just I'm just a player. That's the role. A player.
What would you say your role is on Astralis? Are you a support player? Are you just like you Mr. Do It All?
Um I guess I am the support player. Like I'm I drone most of the time for the team. But sometimes I do take like
You guys drone on Astralis?
I know it's crazy.
Wow,
But
that's breaking.
yeah, but I think I'm one of the one of the primary callers at the moment and like one of the most like active droners of the team. So I would say I'm like
Would you say you're
on
a
the deck.
IGL on Astralis?
No.
No. Who's the like IGL of Astralis?
I think Dave is mostly part of the IGL department, but I think like I do have like my own role as well, and it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
making sure we got game plans and like what's helping with the macro and micro, and like how I can take over whenever he can't do it, or like he can take over for me. I think it's kind of like we just pass the ball to each other and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
It's kind of just like everybody kind of calls if they see the opportunity, right?
Yeah,
Okay, well, that was kind of in reverse of how we normally do it, so we'll talk more about that later, but it just popped in my head. So, normally how we do this, obviously, is we kind of go backwards, so we'll start from the beginning to now how you got to this point where you are a superstar to the stars, to the superstars on Astralis. So I guess that dates back to around what 2019 when you first were kind of in comp.
yeah. I think the very beginning of my comp career was I switched to PC in 2018, like November. I was playing on a toaster, so I got a new PC for Christmas basically, and like you know I got this whole setup, and like I want to play Challenge League quals just for fun, like just to do it.
Hmm.
I remember playing when Skills was actually like a player. I think like his team was like Skittles, Billboard, um, Gurmy Wormy, and someone else. Like I remember playing those dudes. Like just some OG names back in that time. They were like
Did
the
you just
dude.
meet them like just in you just met them in ranked or something?
No, I mean ranked. I like met them like in comp games and
Oh, okay,
Halo games.
okay.
Yeah, like those are like my first ever opponents, I guess. The people I first played with were Cloudstruck,
Hmm.
and some people might know that guy. He's a character. I played with Call It, obviously, Filthy, and VDOT.
Did you guys get smoked?
We actually are pretty good, for I think for our bum team.
Yeah.
And then I think towards the end of the quals, I think January timeline, I got dropped like mid quals, and it was insane. I was like the first time I got dropped from a team.
Why did you get dropped?
I think like I'll say this like Filthy told me I wasn't ready.
You
Like I was
got
ready for
dropped by
comp.
Filthy?
Yeah, I got dropped by Filthy, and
Okay.
he told me I wasn't ready. But like the game before I got dropped, I dropped like 20 kills. I had like 3 clutches. So I'm like what the fuck, you know? What's going on? So then those
What
guys, you know,
was Filthy as I guess he's kind of maybe gotten a little bit of a reputation for being toxic. Was he like an okay teammate then, or was he like a psycho?
no, he's an okay teammate. He was really loud. Like he had good energy.
Okay. So you got dropped. So the first team you were ever on,
I think
basically,
our team was called I have no clue what our team was called.
and Call Out was on this team as well.
Yeah,
So Call Out and Filthy dropped you.
Call didn't drop me.
Well, he was part of it. He stayed.
He's, I guess so. I guess Call did drop me. Yeah.
So after you got dropped from this like semi comp team, what happened with you?
I remember I still wanted to keep playing like PC comp, whatever. I still wanted to keep playing, right?
Were you?
So
Sorry to interrupt. I kind of spotted my head. Were you like? So at this period of time, were you like wanting to go pro, or was it just like something you thought was fun and you wanted to play? Like, did you think you could be pro? Was that even something you were like thinking of, or was it just like this game is fun? You know, I like playing comp. We'll just play with friends or something.
so I guess to provide some context to that, I originally started playing Siege back in like when it first came out, like Dustline. I played
Hmm.
the beta and I started playing Dustline, and I played on Xbox. Obviously, Xbox had like their own comp like system, like it was like PC and Xbox.
Hmm.
Obviously, I was underage, so I couldn't do anything like that. But I watched all the time. I thought it was fucking dope. And so I want to say 2017, 2018 rolls around, and like there's this thing called like Ubisoft pulls out of Xbox. I'm kind of like 18 now, and now there's like this league called like the Major League. It's what they replaced for like no more Xbox comp. And so Colin and I actually qualified for the second season. Actually, Vertical played in it. Like a whole bunch of old names that didn't switch over to the PC platform are still in it. And like that's kind of what sparked our like wanted to actually play like competitive gaming was just like, you know, we got like second place that season and then like I basically like won like back to back the next year after that. So it's definitely like, I can definitely make money playing video games. Like
So you thought you were good, like you thought you could be good enough to like eventually become a pro on PC, basically.
I wouldn't see it on PC, but more like
Yeah.
just in general, like yeah, like, I could definitely do this. This is like not sustainable, but like this is a good hobby I can make, some money off of.
Okay.
And I had really fun. I was really good at it, so it's like, why wouldn't I do it? So I want to say after that Champions League quals and after I got dropped in January, I like I played with Michael.lol. You know what that is?
Unfortunately, I don't know Michael.lol. Sounds like a great player though.
Great player. I played with those guys for like a week, and I thought we just fucked his ass. I was like, fuck this shit, bro. I'm just gonna wait. So then Colt's team loses in the Seal quals like playoffs, whatever,
Hmm.
and then like him and I are talking like we're like, listen, you know, we know how like how good we are, and we know like what it takes, like because like we actually scrimmed a lot on Xbox. We did a lot of practice and stuff too, like just for like fucking Xbox, kind of odd. So we're like, listen, if we could find like three other people the same mindset who just want to play the game and get better and just want to like do it, let's just fucking do it. So he left that team. That's when I found Grixer. And I originally knew Grixer from Xbox, but I didn't really talk to him too much. Like I knew of him, and his name was like
Was he just like 18, or he was even underage, maybe, right?
he was a year younger than me, so I think he just turned 18 because I just
Hmm.
turned like 19. And I remember playing Go Fours against him because me and Call would play Go Fours on the PC, right? So we're like,
Yeah, yeah.
and Grixer every time would play like Doc, half wall border every time. This red ass headgear is Doc and just swinging, just smoke us every time. And this happened multiple Go Fours. We're like, dude, this guy's a beast. So obviously, like we get in contact with him. He's like, he's fucking down. He's with. He's like, let's get fucking after it. And he actually lived in. Him and I actually lived in the same city at the same time too, which is
Did
the
you
funniest
guys ever
part.
like hang out or meet in real life?
No.
So you lived in the same city, you were on a team together for a while, or what ends up being a while, and you've never met or hung out one time.
It wasn't like I was dodging him. He just lived pretty fucking far, And
But you're in the same city. You can't live. It's not like
it's
he's
it's,
in.
it's like it's like he lived up here and I lived like down here. So it was
So
just
it's like that's like 30 minutes. It's not like he's in California
uh
and you're in
uh
Texas.
it It was okay, cause we were always playing ranked together a lot, so it was like, yeah, that's how we
Okay.
hanged out, was just playing ranked and shit. And so we're trying people out. We play with Dream. We get Dream.
Is Dream also from Xbox, or he just like knew of him?
I have no fucking clue. Dream was with
You just
Toothpaste.
found him like on the
We,
streets.
we, we, we we just found him. Not on the streets. He was with Toothpaste, but that was like an abysmal Toothpaste roster. That was like they just weren't winning. Something like that. So like we get
Hmm.
Dream, and then I think we get Fozo, but then we tried Fozo out with someone else, but this guy was just kind of odd. Like he was just saying some
Bozo
weird
was, or
shit.
the guy you tried out?
The guy we tried him out with, and he was just odd.
Okay.
Like and we're like, bro, like we just can't play with this dude. He's just too weird. So like, okay, listen, like let's just play with Fozo and let's play with Dream, and then let's just fucking do it. So we're playing. I want to say timeline is now April, March. Dream just has a fucking, he's just done. He's like, I can't stream this much anymore. He's done. He's like, he's out.
Well, you guys were like, yeah, you guys weren't under an org. You weren't even in Challenger League. Like, you were just scrimming to try to make Challenger League.
Yeah. And the next
And
quals were in August, by the way, too.
Dream was coming from Challenger League, right? Like, he had already been in maybe even Pro League. No, probably not
Oh
Pro
no,
League
no, no,
yet.
no, no. I don't think Dream was in charge of it at all.
Okay.
I think he was just in our same position.
Yeah.
But I guess like the workload was just a little too much for him at that time. So he left
Yeah,
the
I mean,
team.
understandable when you're not getting paid or anything.
And then, obviously we're like, fuck, bro. Who do we get now? So then we find, so we DM prompted Benji, not B Money, but Benji. The other
Obey,
Benji. Obey
Benji.obey,
Benji,
yeah.
yeah, we DM him. Just a whole bunch of people. All these guys just ego us. All of them. They all just ego us. No response.
Hmm.
And then we get Kilo. I have no clue what the fuck we found Kilo. We just did.
So current CL Kilo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we play with him. We're like, listen, bro. Like, let's just fucking, like, either you're about it or you're not. He's like, I'm about it. We played
I
the
don't even
open.
remember this team. I can't lie.
Like I said, we were under the radar, bro. We were just low key. So we play Siege Rivals. We lose the first tournament, something like that. We then
Hmm.
play the second tournament, and we beat TSM before they were TSM.
So it was like Accelerate or whatever they were called. Like,
Not even that. It
whatever.
was like when they were Orgalist. It was when Mark and Bolo just joined.
Pojo's Dojo.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I
I
see.
don't know.
So at this point, were you the? Yeah, I see it right now. So at this point, you guys were the Pittsburgh Embers.
No,
No, it said. I mean, it says you are, unless like you got picked up because of this, maybe.
we got the Pittsburgh Embers after this tournament.
Okay.
So we beat TSM, and then we lose the tournament. We got like $40. I was fucking pissed off. I'm like, man, how the fuck do I
I mean,
lose this
$40 is a
time?
lot.
Yeah, I'm
You
well,
got eliminated in that tournament by
well,
Gun Havoc.
I get eliminated by Gun Havoc, Abonai, and like
Hmm.
just a bunch of dudes. So I was like, man, how the fuck do we lose after? Like, I mean, we just beat TSM. We just beat a pro team.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck do we lose this tournament? So and we're thinking like, listen, we got something that actually works now. So we get some coach. His name was like, I don't know, Titus. He was okay. He didn't do too much. He was just okay. He was just there, like, yeah, just there to have fun.
Yeah.
And so that's when I think the spark of the team started was USN quals right after that. That's when we finally started getting traction. So we play USN quals. We beat we beat a CL team. We beat Karn's team. I think. I think it was like we beat Karn's team. We beat Disrupt Gaming. So it was like two CL teams we beat back to back,
Hmm.
and then we play TSM, and then we fucking lose.
Right.
And that was for the USN spot too. So this is like summertime, like pre-summer or May, and we're like we're good. We're like, oh yeah, like we can, we're good for a bunch of bumps.
Hmm.
Move on to the Raleigh Major Quals, and that was by far one of my best tournaments, I think. You know, we went through the open, then we got into closed, and then we beat Rise.
Yep, you beat him 2-1, and that was a Rise with
England,
This is
Factor.
the craziest roster I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
England.
Vandal, England, Acid, Factor, and Tracken. That is an insane roster, but okay.
And listen, that was a, and that, if I'm not mistaken, too, we're actually playing without Grixer at this time because Grixer is in Europe right now. So
Yeah, it doesn't say who you're playing with.
yeah, so we're playing without Grixer. So we're playing with our coach actually, and we beat these dudes. We're like, damn, we actually won. We actually beat like another SEAL team. We then play leftovers, which was, and I'm talking OG leftovers, like crazy Brian Jarvis,
It was
Adam
Crazy, Adam, Jarvis, Brian, and Trippin, and they also have
Trip.
Prod, but I guess Prod is like a sub.
Yeah, I think I didn't see Prod in that game, but that game was a barn burner, absolute stinker of a game. I dropped the first map. I dropped 26 kills. Like it was a dig deep type of game. And mind you, we're also playing with our coach,
hmm
and all those guys had just gotten dropped from their teams and made that T3 team, whatever. And we lost like 2-1.
I
And
think that was I think Tempo Storm had gotten relegated, so it was like,
no, no, no.
oh,
This is way before. This is way before.
oh, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. Because I think that's when Jarvis got dropped from Dark Zero. I'm talking. This is real long ago. This is real long ago.
I think. I mean, maybe at this point, Sonics are in Pro League, is what I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I think Sonics. Yeah, Sonics are in Pro League. This one, like, this is before Dark Zero went to Japan and Reciprocity.
Yeah, Rec is still in the league.
This,
LG is in the league.
this is the Raleigh Major. Yeah, because Drip and them
Yeah,
made Drip and them made Pro League, but then Drip got dropped.
shitter.
Um, we lose to those guys, and again, like, we're thinking like we got this far with the coach. Like, imagine we Grixer now. Like we're
Did you guys know? Okay, so my question, and you can continue obviously, but when you were on that team, and at the time, for anybody that wasn't paying attention, at this moment, we're about like mid 2019, and it's you, Call Out, Kilo, Fozo, and Grixer.
yeah.
Did you feel like all of you were pro league players, or were you like some of you guys are like eventually these guys are gonna have to go, but like me, Grixer, Call Out, or something are like we can do something here.
I'm gonna say no. Like the goal was just to make Challenger League. That was like
So you
the
weren't
first
even
goal.
thinking about like could this team be in pro league kind of thing.
Not yet, but we were thinking
Yeah.
like we can definitely make Challenge. Like we're like
Mm,
we can do this because we beat SEAL teams, we beat Pro teams, we beat X Pros who are stacking together. Like we're like and we're not losing to all their competition. The T3 comp. Like we're not losing to them. We're beating them usually in scrims and stuff. Like so, I'd say yeah, we're doing pretty good. SEAL quals run around. We lose the first qualifier. We're like, dude, we're bums. I remember playing this coastline game against this guy named like a chimney, and that was just insane. And like Merc casted it. I actually think I don't know if you were there.
I
I
might
know
have been there
you may have been, and like
because we were already because this is when I was on Rogue, I think, and we were already qualified for USN.
it was just so insane. Like it was just like that game. Like this guy's just blatantly looking at me through a fucking wall, bro. Like the people are telling me he's not cheating. I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. So we lose that qualifier, and we're more like, you know, wake the fuck up. Like how,
hmm
how, how are we losing the bums now? Next qualifier rolls around, and we just steamroll it. It's just pure domination. And I remember that moment when we qualified for Challenge League, it was just so fulfilling. It was like, dude,
Yeah.
like it. It's a moment like I'll never. I mean, making Pro League definitely topped it, 100%. But it's different those moments that you just can't like put into words, like the the fulfillment of like,
Well, you were grinding for. I mean, you played Xbox, and you were grinding for like 6 months, 8 months to finally like make it. And then if like say you don't make Challenger League there, who like maybe you stop playing. Like who knows what you do?
Yeah, I probably would have, because I was in college at the time,
Yeah.
so I probably would have, I probably just would you know, probably just would have just quit, just stay in college, follow my degree. So like I was on the grind. I was waking up, doing my classes all day, then coming home, streaming. That was like all I was
Hmm.
doing. Like it was just pure grind. So we qualify, and we have like one of the best seasons in Challenger League. Like Two Face had a pretty good season too, but
You
it didn't
guys
matter.
went 10-1-3. I do have one question about that though.
What's up?
So on your team there,
Oh,
Kilo is no longer
yeah,
on the
yeah, Kilo, yeah.
roster, and you bring in Abinai, and then Execration is the coach. So what happened in that regard? Like where did the Kilo gone, Abinai come in kind of factor?
So we actually are missing a ton of details there too.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Embers thing happened, like
Yeah.
the whole contract thing. Like
Oh yeah. What was the deal? They weren't paying players or
so, like
something?
they offered us like, obviously you got to think we're dumbasses, like you know like we've never been with an org before, like,
Right. Yeah.
and like we're thinking like, listen, like we signed this org, like these guys are promising us 30K, like they just said like, listen, we have this guy named Ryan Labriola, is some 20-year-old trust fund baby. He's like, listen, I got 30K set aside for you boys. All you gotta do is make Challenger League. We're like, okay, we'll do it. We'll sign. We'll do it. So then it's like, we go and do it, and then like, he's like, well, this type of industry is not profitable for us. So we can't give you money. We're like, what the fuck?
Free agents.
So we get Ty Tangles at this time. He backs us up. We get people to read over our contracts, and basically we just walked away. And then the Emperor's trying to like make this whole big thing out of it, saying they're gonna pursue us and then within the next 5 years. Now they're gonna press charges for breaking our contracts, and you know just a bunch of baloney. And like we just walked away. Like we just we let our
Right.
we let our nuts hang. Just walked away. And so I'll get my tangent here. So Tribizzle, is that his name? Like the CEO of
Tribizzle.
Sonics?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tribizzle. So like you know, he's a G for ripping up Apple, like the owner of Embrace, just ripping him up on that podcast. You know,
It's funny that I vaguely remember about me and Darren even talking about this, but I can't really even remember the discussion.
like all I know is like he just backed us up. He was just shitting on him the whole time. And I was like, these are the words I want to hear right now. For like the 40 minutes of just pure bliss. I was like, thank you. Because CGG released an article that they asked us to, hey, like, can we release an article about you guys and what's your guys' input on the situation? We have our input, but then they're like, don't release the article. Like, we do not want more traction. And then they released a fucking article.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I've been like a CGG hater. Like, I've just been
Well,
like,
they're a Mickey Mouse website. They don't actually have real reporters and stuff, so
they
not
just,
surprising.
it's like they would come, they actually went to us and Ty Tangles asking for us to release this article about the Empress. We're like, don't do it. Like, please do not publish this article. And they wouldn't did it anyways.
Yeah, I mean they're not employing like actual journalists or anything there, so they don't follow like what you would consider practical journalistic ethics. Like they're not like, nowadays we have like Hunter Cook and people like that who like are actual journalists who went to school for things like this and whatnot. The
Yeah.
people who are working for ZGG are just like some dude they found like outside that can write sentences.
So, because this is all gonna tie here in a second. We we you know we're just done with the Embers. However, during the time, Kilo was playing with us, but he was not under contract. Like he didn't sign the contract originally, because like I said, he came to the team after Dream left and stuff, and like, and we were at the point, I think we kind of signed this bum contract, but he wasn't there.
Mhm.
So Kilo's just playing to have fun,
Right.
essentially. I mean, we didn't get shit. I mean, we got jerseys. So I was like,
You
that was
guys
great.
weren't even getting paid anything, so it didn't really matter whether you're on
No,
contract or not,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So Kilo's then just like, at that time, he was just like not mentally like in the best spot, and we just thought he was trolling too much. Like he was just doing a lot of bad peaks and a lot of like really questionable stuff, and like sometimes just tossing rounds,
Hmm.
and like Fozo just absolutely hated it. Fozo just was just pissed off all the fucking. He's like, bro, what the fuck's this guy doing?
And if Fozo thinks you're ass, then you must just be horrible.
Well, I mean, nevertheless, like the system we had was good with the players. It was just like, I will say Kilo was tossing a lot. That's all. I mean, he could shoot. He was one of our best shooters, but like
Yeah.
it's like just doing questionable stuff. Like I remember one thing Fozo didn't like about Keel's gameplay
Was
is like
Fozo IGLing you guys, or is like he the captain?
COD was 5GL and captain, and I think we had a very similar system, like where we kind of had everyone calling, sort of, but call was
Yeah.
like the main micro and macro at the time. But
Fozo
everyone,
just had like a big voice on the
yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah. Foz was definitely a very big voice, and it just worked. And he's kind of like our good he was like our good flank watch player. Um, so like, basically like we cut Kilo after we qualify, and then we pick up Abonai because Abonai was like the one guy every time we played him in scrims, in the siege rivals, in seal quals, like he was just dropping nukes on us. Like he was, and he's also in Challenge League too. So it's like, you know, why wouldn't we get someone who's like already experienced and like, and it was always shitting on us? Like, let's put this guy on our team now, And
Hmm.
he was 100% down with it because we actually beat him for the Challenge League spot.
So you thought that Kilo was making a bunch of stupid peeks and plays, and your answer to that was to pick up Abonai.
I mean, I, it worked.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
worked.
understood.
That's all I can really say. It worked. Um, so then and then now we're like, Titus, he's gone. He's long gone at this point. He's like, yeah, I got school, bro. I can't be a coach. And like I said, I don't think he did a lot. He was just there to have fun. So we get Execration, who was with 92 Dream Team, but then he got dropped too, right? Because I think he was at USN.
Hmm.
Not with us, but he was at USN the year before, and he was with 92 Dream Team, and then he got dropped. But then I think at that point he wanted to stop being a player, and wanted to be a coach, and he kind of really helped us. Surprisingly, like it's despite what people think about X, like
Hmm.
he really like helped us out like in that period of transitioning from Challenger League, like from T3 to Challenger League, and like changed the whole mindset of like kind of like the only person like believing in us at this point.
Yeah.
So then we get like we're talking to orgs again, and then what do you know? We we talked to Bay and they pick us up and we're not getting paid.
So this was was Obey is this after they had been in Pro League and maybe even were relegated when they had like Benji and my man and Bosco?
Yeah, this was after. Yeah, this is like
Okay.
I don't know how long because this was after the Paris major. That was 2018, right?
Yeah.
And then that's when Obey got relegated after that season or something like. Or they just the team just was just gone after that basically.
So when you sign with Obey, what are they paying you to play Challenger League?
Obviously like no slander to Obey, but like they offered us like, hey man, like at some point we could like maybe offer you guys pay, but not right now. Like they
So
said,
you signed to an org without getting paid anything.
well, the things like except this time there were things outlined in the contract. Like they would give us maybe some merch. They'd give us some.
Uh-huh.
They said they could offer us like a Twitch partnership.
Twitter checkmark.
Yeah, yeah, like all that stuff. We're like, you know what? Sure.
Okay.
Like because no other orgs were talking to us. Like you're like let's just do it. Talking get the green light, even though they thought it was like a bad idea. It's like just do it. The contract
My
was off.
suggestion would always be to any Challenger League player,
Don't sign a
unless
contract.
unless you are getting paid money that you need or what you would consider considerable money, or it is outlined in the contract a buyout amount that you think is reasonable or an elevated salary if your team makes Pro League, do not sign a contract. Because if a pro league team comes wanting you, a lot of them just simply will not have any conversation if you have to be bought out from a team. There's no point in signing a contract unless, one, you really need the money, two, it's outlined that there's a buyout that you feel like is reasonable, or three, there's a like clear pay upgrade from making pro league that is a reasonable salary.
And I think we had that in our contract, saying like we would make pro league and then they could pay us.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay,
Well, I'd hope so.
and we're like, let's do this, because now we're thinking like we could do this. So Grixer was the goat, obviously. He has this banger of his season. I think the whole time he was baiting Ab and I, but like our system was just good. Like Ab and I would go in, maybe get one kill then die, but then Grixer is always there to back him up. Like, get a 2-3K right after that. Like, you know, Grixer was definitely a hard carry that season. But like,
Yeah, I think he was like plus 60 or something.
I think he was like plus 80.
Even better.
Like, he was our like. We played around him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we were like the guy that we enabled him, and we played off of him.
Mm-hmm. What roles was he playing? Is it like he is now for Sonics, or is he more of like just an entry player or something?
He was like the second entry. He was like our Zoe player a lot. And
Okay.
this one Ash and Zoe were like really good together. Like you'd have like your aimers and those ops, and like you know, I was kind of like, I don't know what the fuck I was, to be honest. I was kind of like the Capital player, like the util like flex. That was
Okay.
usually me. And Foza was usually like the flank. It was like traditional old style siege, like get your Harbridge player, your flank watch, two entries, and like your flex. And I think at that time was when I really turned out my roles as a player, because like at the point I would play anything. Like I could play your castle.
From this period, I remember you just playing like, you kind of just played a bunch of roles and you just ran around like a maniac. Like, I think what you said is right. Like, you'd play Doc, you'd play like Castle, like you were kind of just running everything.
Like I'd play Jaeger. Like I said, like I was like, uh, and I still believe I am like type of player where like, you can put me in this position or role, and like I will play that role. Like I will do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you need someone to play smoke, I'll play smoke. You need someone to
Right.
play castle, I'll be the bitch. Like I'll take castle, I'll take them. You need someone to play Caviera. You know, I got told to play Caviera. And I did it. And so that's definitely what opened up my, I think, individual spark of like I can play anything basically. And it wasn't like I didn't get to choose what I wanted to play. I was just put on those ops
Yeah.
like Forrest. Like literally, I literally like remember like times I used to like Forrest play Doc and then just go swing. Like go play
Mm-hmm.
this, go play like this position and hookah, or like just like hold down this part of the map and just swing. Like okay, I will.
And this was like call out, kind of telling you
Yeah.
to just go on these. Okay.
And so like it worked out. Like yeah, that was just a good season. We lost to Disrupt, we lost to Two Face, we lost to Disrupt, and we lost to Akutski, which that was Drip's fucking team. Like
With like Profit
the
and
Prophet,
yeah,
Fraud, you know. Oh, that was a fun team to play
the
against.
Dream Team.
So then we play you guys.
Yeah.
We play the old Sonics. In that game, like we weren't like trying to hype it up, or like at this point, we've already won Challenge League, and that's what we wanted to win Challenge League. That's what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like if we lose the relegation match, like we're not gonna be upset, because like
Right.
you know
I
we
think
pretty much
going
knew
into
what we
that
were gonna
match
do.
too, because our team was in like that weird position where Slevin and Gonfi basically didn't even play the season, and so the only time people saw us was Slevin and Gonfi, where you like, it was like first phase or something. So I think even going into that game, we were like, people thought we would beat you guys because like they thought Slevin and Gonfi were good, and we didn't even get to play with them like in the season.
Yeah, I heard
And I
they're, like in
remember,
Canada, right? They're playing in Canada.
yeah, and we had like a really, the first day, like I remember we played against you, and the first map was super close. It was like 8-7, and it was your pick. And then in between the like first and second map, one of the players on Sonics, I won't name them, but they just go, "We lost," and they're like shaking their head after losing 8-7 on your map pick. And I have never been more mad in my life as like a player. Like and we get smoked on the second map, like 7-1, and that was our map pick. And I just remember screaming at the top of my lungs at him, saying, "Are you fucking giving up? You want to be fucking relegated out of the fucking league?" Just screaming at this guy in the middle of the match because he literally, we lose your map 8-7, and he literally just gives up. I'll never forget that because the Sonics people were there. We were in a room. We were like in a separate room. I was screaming so loud they could hear me through the walls. Like Gonfi's girlfriend was there. Like they could hear me just fucking roasting this guy for that. I've never been that mad in my life. That was probably the maddest I've ever been. Was that game?
That game, like, I'd say we had really good momentum because we were screaming a lot of pro teams, and we were smoking the pro teams. Like we were smoking them, and like that game too. I remember I drank like I think like 800 milligrams of caffeine. Like I was just, I was doing whatever it took. Like I was just like, I'll put my health at risk because this has got to happen. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you don't win, then you potentially have to play a whole nother year of Challenger League.
yeah, like literally, like I think the next relegation after that were like in like April.
It's literally just once a year at that point.
Yeah, it's like, it's our only shot. Like obviously, like I said, like we weren't gonna be too upset we lost, but it's like this was the time to go all in though. Like, this is time for us to go all in. And so I remember like winning that 2v4 whatever with being called. I was castle like at the 4 count.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, dude, I was first of all I was screaming like I was butt naked, boxers only. Like I say, it got that intense for me. Like I was playing only my boxers, and thank God there's no
Yeah.
cameras. And I was dumping water on my head. Like I was just, it was there was a lot going on during that match that like people didn't see. And like I just remember like the moment that like we won was just like just it was really unspeakable. Just like I made it. Like I finally like made it. Like I get to say like
Right.
I hate the term gamer, but like, I could call myself a pro gamer.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, you've basically been playing for 2 years, and now you like all the work that you put in, like finally culminates with like the victory, and you're now in pro league.
Yeah, then I finished that semester of college, and I haven't been since.
Yep.
So then, this is the part I haven't spoke too much about, which is like the whole situation with like Ab and my foes, and the whole rogue situation.
Mm-hmm.
So first
Oh,
of
I
all,
remember this too. I
that
actually
that
had
that, that,
forgotten
that,
about
that
this, and
that
now I
was
remember
fucked.
this.
First of all, all that shit was fucked. Like I got painted in such a bad light, and like I didn't even cause all this shit. Like bro, I was just there. Like I was just
So
fucking
what?
there.
So what was the situation?
I'm trying to think how this all starts out. I'll
So
start it out. Okay,
Rogue get
Rogue loses.
relegated.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah, they
Rogue
get
loses.
relegated. They're out of pro league.
I want to say a day or two later, Redeemer DMs one of us, and he says, "Hey, listen, I got an opportunity for you guys. Like, he's like, hear me out."
And Redeem at the time was a coach for Rogue.
Yeah, it was. So Rogue did not want to lose their pilot program shit.
Right. Yeah.
So because those dudes were making hella fucking money, making a shit ton
Oh,
of money.
I was on Rogue. I
Yeah,
know
they're
how
really
much
making a
money
shit
we
ton of
were
money. So
making.
they're like,
Yeah.
you know, we don't want to lose that. So they're coming to us. I think they went to Two Face as well, but they said they preferred us over them for whatever reason.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, your team was by far the best CL team. Like coming out of CL, you guys had like a way better record than Two Face.
Maybe. I thought we had a very similar record. We just had like one more point than them.
Oh no, you guys were 11. You were 10-1-3, and they were 5-7-2.
Hmm.
So I guess maybe they had just like a lot of draws. They had a lot of 6-6 games. So in theory, they were like okay, but you guys had a way better record.
And so like, those guys, basically Redeemer's talking to us now. Okay, so Rogue, I'm not saying the players like so like this. All of this whole thing was never any of the players' faults from Rogue. This is or the staff. None of them wanted. I won't say they didn't want this, but like none of them, you know, caused any of this. Like they're simply listening to the org, right? The org is the company Rogue is pushing for this. So like they tell us, listen, we want to play with you guys. We want vertical for Fozo, and
Hmm. I mean, why
so
would Fozo clears? So what's the other part of this?
well, so that's what we keep going to. So it's like okay, so it's like vertical for Fozo, and that's it. We want to bring our staff, our whole team, and so we get in a call, like we talk about this, and like yeah, like literally
No
like
shit.
no shit, like I mean like no disrespect to Fozo, but it was just like this is an opportunity that sounds like just too good, not too good to be true, but like this big
Yeah.
company out of nowhere is coming to us. They want to
Weren't they offering you, like, I remember this at the time, but weren't they also offering you like an insane salary?
yeah.
It was like, what was it? Was it like 6K or was it even more than that?
Well, for it was 5,500. They weren't. I think they were giving the
But
other players on the team their original salary.
at that time, that was a
Oh,
lot.
that
Like
was a shit ton.
5,500 was
Is
a
a
lot of
shit
money.
ton. Yeah, that is a shit ton. Yeah, but
I mean, it's still a lot actually, but like that's a lot.
I know it's a lot. So we we then like we're like, listen, let's just think about this and we'll get back to you. So like, and I'll say this, Ab and I was there for that first call because he was involved.
Uh-huh.
So then like we then go and like not in our sort of ways, but we're just chilling now. Redeemer takes us again and says, listen, I have a new proposition now. And he says this is the only way it's gonna work, something like that. Like the org wants like this is what the company Rogue want. Like
Okay.
that's what the company wants. Like they want to retain easily and retain vertical for Adeline Fozo. So but Redeemer only told me call and Grixer. And we're like, well shit. I mean this is fucked. Like, you know,
Still something that you should do.
it's still something that like just like so remember it was me, Grixer, call, and an X, and we're like, listen, like at any point right now, like if any one of us says this is not the move, we'll stop right now, and we'll say no. We'll say like fuck no, we're not doing this. But then Rogue, we originally said like, are you sure? Like we can't just get vertical. Then so like Rogue told us no, we have to get easily now. So it's kind of okay. Then I guess like we'd agreed, like okay, sure, we'll try him out.
Yeah.
So we play, and like at this time, like we saw foes in Abonai, and then those dudes are just like off the rails now. 'Cause, they just
Well,
be drilling, and
understandably
I completely
so. Yeah,
understand.
everybody
But
would be
like,
pissed. Yeah.
you know, I got painted in a pretty bad light, and it wasn't like I was the one that went out of my way and caused all this. Like, everyone, it's not like I got called a snake and shit. Like, you know, I'm not the one that I didn't go to Rogue. Rogue came to me. Like Rogue came to our whole team, and like, like I said, like at any point, anyone could have said no, but no one said no. So it's like,
Right.
you know, am I really the only bad guy here, or like, I guess at the end of the day, that was like one of the most harsh, like, harsh reality of the esports industry, like shit like that. It's like, like sometimes you might like it's not like I didn't
People
want,
take it.
yeah. It's like
One thing that
I don't
I've
know.
learned, yeah, I mean, one thing I've learned, and obviously now even as GM, I actually think it's probably separated a little bit more because, like, I'm indirect with it, or I'm not like, they don't feel like I'm directly responsible. But the harsh reality of it is like you have to be able to separate the friendship side of esports from like the business side of it. And a lot of the times, the guys who are like your best friend or your guys who are friends on a team, or if you get dropped, you take it personal or you make personal decisions. And most of the time, and there are some people who are just like it is personal because they're just like not good teammates or something. But most of the time, it's never like you're making the decision because it's like this is personal. Like they're just everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be on the best team that you can, especially in your situation even. you're probably getting better players, and it's going to enable you to make a lot more money. And you have to worry about yourself and what's good for like your team and yourself. And people never, and understandably so in a way, but people never see that side of it. They always just feel like this fucking guy dropped me. They don't see the bigger picture of like why this could be. Like they just take it so personal that you would do that to them.
I think like the only part I can take like accountability on and like was just like like, I heard Rogue out and like I pursued that avenue, but like I wasn't the only one though. So, like it wasn't like again like I didn't conspire all
Right.
of this.
I mean, like you said, everybody had the chance to speak up, and nobody did at that time.
And we said it like multiple times, like hey, anyone right now could say no and we're done. Like this is no longer happening. Anyone, any one of us four could have said it, and no
I
one.
mean, and in hindsight too, like if you look at it, Easily and Vertical are better players than Fozo and Abonite. That's just the reality of it.
Because like Rogue had won USN the year before, they won
Yeah.
DreamHack Valencia that year, and then like they were showing us like VODs and stuff, and I'm not gonna name players or anything like that, but they were showing us like the problems of Rogue, and we're like, damn. But they didn't show us the problems of Vertical and Easily because like they weren't. I guess at that time they weren't really like the like the cause of the issues of the team at that time. They weren't the
Right.
problem, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
From what they showed us, again, that's what they. And notice for them, like I thought they're good, like and like I would have gone forward with them 100%, but like, and it wasn't them that pushed us away. It was the company that pushed us away. That just you know.
So what happened there?
So we scrim SSG, like we're like it's good, like it's a pretty good scrim. I think we get like 7-5 every map, like or we get 7-5 or like or 6-6. It's like it's pretty good. For the
And
first day
SSG
of
is like
scrims.
really good at this point in time too.
I don't think they have Canadians just yet.
Okay, so they suck at this point in time. I take that back.
Well, this is right before they won USN, but they're close though. So this is like
Yeah, they're good enough.
we're doing okay against SSG right now. We're doing okay, and we scrim again. It's a good day of scrims. We're mopping this team. It's like we fly through them. The next team we scrim, it's like all right, this is good. Like what's happening after this now? So then we get into conflict negotiations, and this is where the deal just stopped. It wasn't because of Rogue. It wasn't because not Rogue. It wasn't because of the players from Rogue or the staff. It was because of the company and the management.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't budge in any negotiations. They were, from the start, they're forcing players onto us. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we were kind of taking small jabs. Like, okay, like sure, oh sure, like you want to give us Vertical and your whole staff? Sure, I guess we'll, sure. Oh, you want Easily now? Like, you want to make us drop 2 players? Sure, I guess we'll do that. And like they wouldn't budge for negotiations. They wouldn't budge anything.
What was like a deal breaker in terms? Because like what you said to me, like they're coming to you guys, they're offering you 5,500. They are making you change 2 players, but just like obviously a little bit hindsight, but they're better players. Like what was the deal breaker that you guys were like, okay, we can't sign with the Rogue?
It was just like with Rogue, out of nowhere, these dudes were like telling us sign the contract. Like they're like sign the contract. Like the management, like I had the CEO of Rogue DMing me on Twitter like saying like this is like an opportunity for you. Like the old CEO of Rogue, I think there's a new one now. He's like,
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. It's the same guy that dropped me because of my tweets.
This guy's like, listen, man, like he's like, you should do this. Like you should try to convince me, And the vibe was just gone. Like the vibe, like that's just not.
They basically felt like they were doing you the favor to come to you with this offer to give you these players, and you were like, God, and in your like mind, you're like, you guys got relegated. We're the ones in Pro League. Like you can't.
Well, sort of.
You should be like trying to convince us.
Like again, like it was never the players and staff were good. Like that was never the issue. It was the company, and like the problem was kind of like they just kept forcing stuff onto us, and they wouldn't. It's like they would ask more of us. When we asked for stuff back, they wouldn't budge at all. And
they just thought that they basically just thought that you guys were lucky to be getting the offer.
I guess. Yeah,
that's what it sounds like to me.
I have no fucking clue. So we're like,
in their mind, they're like, we're giving you Vertical and Easily 2 good players. We're gonna pay you way more than these other teams. You're gonna get pilot share money. You just do whatever the fuck we say, basically.
and I guess like one of the team managers at that time was like, "Done deal, sign the contract." Like those words, it's like a joke being called have like done deal. You know, done deal, sign the contract. Like he just kept saying
Yeah.
it. He just kept saying it was like done deal, sign the contract already. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, bro? Like what's going on right now? You know. And so during this time, like Foza just dropped a twit longer on me. After I tripping me up, Foza streams like I'm getting completely ripped apart. I'm like, fuck, bro.
Hmm.
You know, how come it's got to be me? How come I am the one that got targeted? Like how come I'm the
Right.
one I got called out? And so then I didn't talk to those two for a while. The beef's been squashed for a long time now. Though I'm good friends with them now.
Yeah, yeah.
I do you know I say I'm pretty good friends with them now. You know, everyone's seen what happened. Like you know, this is a side I never spoke out. You know, in
So,
public. I told them that like after
mhm.
they heard me. I'm like, oh, you know,
So
it's a little
basically,
different
you
now.
guys would have been on Rogue, but they just gave you a bad vibe, and you decided
It's just this
we'll look elsewhere.
Frank, the management. It just
Yeah.
I I remember X Crazy to like listen, like these guys like they're just trying to fucking come to our team, come onto our fucking side of our legacy. They're trying to come onto us and like they don't give us jack
And
shit.
also, like, makes you worry too about like
But like
going
what will happen
forward,
if like
like,
they
because
want to
they
replace us?
clearly don't give a shit about you. They care about easily invert and getting their fucking spot. So like, they have no loyalty to you. So they're just trying to get you to sign the contract. So in 6 months, maybe you're all fucking gone.
I thought the highlight of all of what Frank told me, of what he told me was like, yeah, you know, we'll take you to USN. Well, he's like, yeah, I can get you to spot at USN. I'll get you a spot. You can play at USN. What the fuck? Like, you know, is that really like a negotiation? Like, you're gonna use a land event to make me sign a contract? Like,
Yeah, USN.
that's fucking insane. Like, you're gonna convince me to sign a contract by telling me
And
I
Frank
couldn't play
Frank is the
USN.
former CEO of Rogue. For those who don't know who Frank is.
So it was just, I don't know. It was just all fucked. So we're like, no more deal. We're done.
Hmm.
And again, like I said, it's like no hate towards Vertical easily. Redeemer. I think Ranger was there. I don't know.
Oh, you lucked out then. That was really a good decision.
And again, like we probably would have done it if the management was just not like. Because I remember DMing the map for it saying like, listen, it's not you guys. It's just the company just will not budge on jack shit for some reason. They just fucking won't. After we gave them like an inch, they took like a mile from us.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, it's like they wanted to put their whole team onto us. It wasn't like us getting like a plug-in, like two players and like our coach, our analyst already. They wanted to give us their analyst too, their coach, also the third guy, whatever, everything, you know.
Hmm.
And like, it's like they just wanted to keep, they just wanted to retain what they had and then like potentially replace us down the line. I don't know. I have no clue how good that team would have been. I have no clue.
Right. Yeah. So then
So
you go. So you go like. So
so
now Rogue's out of the picture. So what happens from here?
we try to salvage it. We talked to Abinite. Abinite is just he's just gone. Like
Right.
he just hates us. Or he doesn't want to talk to us. He just you know we're like okay, well that's fucked. Foza hates us too. This is fucked. So we gave those two the full seal money because how fucked all of us was. So we gave them each like I think it was we got 10,000. So we just gave them each like 5K from our
Yeah.
prize pool. So we said because we fucked them over, we'll give them we'll have them split the whole prize pool then. And like I want to say now it's like who the fuck do we get now? Because the roster window's closing soon. USN's about to
And
start,
you also don't have an org really at
and
this time.
no org at all. And we're like, okay, so this all within a week. So we talked to Yeti, we talked to a bunch of Tournament players. We're like, me and Gretchen play with Yeti a lot, and we're like, you know what? We like Yeti. Let's just get him. And then we have no clue who else to get. Out of nowhere, I think like Execration DMs Alfama. Just out of nowhere. And Alfama said, sure, I'll
So
join the
in this
team.
situation, are you guys like you're up against time with like a roster lock kind of thing?
Yeah,
Or are
a
you
roster
just
lock
like
and a roster lock and an org too.
yeah.
So we're having tight tangles work magic, and like, so the companies I think at the time that were interested in Siege were Temple Storm, E United, Ghost Gaming, potentially NRG, and I don't know if I believe this one was 100 Thieves. I don't believe the 100 Thieves one. I don't believe that one for one
I
thing.
don't think so either.
But the NRG one, we had a meeting with one of their management. Like, again, it was just like a potential like have them hear us out type of thing.
Yeah.
But Ghost Gaming just never happened for whatever reason. We talked to Temple Storm and E United, and like, I guess Temple Storm didn't like us as much because obviously what the fuck was all going on. So they picked up Two Face, and here's the worst part about all this. Now we had buyouts from Obey, even though our contracts were ended. So it was kind of fucked. Like, we got sold to
What were
United.
your buyouts?
It was like 65. It was like 65K for us fucking 4 people. And like the CEO was just like fuck. He was just manipulating. It was just fucked, man. Like, we should have been for free, in my opinion, because they ain't pay
Yeah, I
us
mean,
to
if
it.
you weren't under contract, but
Obey never gave us. Again, this was like the old CEO. This is not the new one. This is the old
yeah,
management. Like, we never got partnered on Twitch. We never got merch. Again, like all this stuff was outlined in the contract. We would get this stuff. Like in other things, other small things like sponsors and stuff they'd give us, and we just never got any of it. Our analyst Bugs, who lived in Europe, got a jersey because he went to a LAN event that like some of his own like local LAN event. You know, you know, like I'm glad someone got something at least. You know,
yeah.
better than nothing. But we didn't get
But
fucking jerseys.
basically, your contract should have been voidable because they didn't deliver on what was said in the
Yeah,
contract.
but then
Yeah.
you know, tough fucking luck. We get sold to United. United is on board. Like, listen, we want this to happen. We want you guys. Let's fucking do this. We're like, let's do it too. So they get the visa. We get a Fama. I will say, cameraman DM'd us. And I'm trying to think how crazy that would have been if we had gotten cameraman instead of a Fama. Because cameraman said he was interested in joining NA teams at that time.
hmm Why did you guys choose Alfama over Cameraman?
I think Alfama had like historically just more experience and more like land not land reputation, but more he's just, I think it was like went to more events. He's just been further than most players. Like, you know, his English was pretty good. Like sure,
Yeah.
let's do this. Like, we thought like him bringing, because at the time Europe was the best region, and we thought like, imagine we bring someone who was on one of the top European teams coming to our team and like giving us like infrastructure and like shit and like, you know kind of injecting us into that type of play style and like how good we can be now if Lestrange was like one of the top teams in Europe, like consistently top three, you know, and always going to events. I mean, sure they wouldn't do too hot, but like they were still going right. And we're just a brand new team, so we play invite quals. We beat LG. We then
Are you
lose.
playing invite calls with Yeti and Alfama?
Now we're playing with Reed.
Oh, because Reed had to
Yeah,
fill
yeah,
in
yeah. So,
for
so
Alfama
Reed,
with
Reed
his
subbed in.
visa.
Yeah, Reed subbed in for us for the first one of Pro League and for invite quals.
hmm
I did okay that quals. I think everyone did okay. But that was, obviously no one was going to beat SSG. Those dudes were
Yeah.
fucking.
Bosco is the qualifier
Yeah,
like overlord
yeah,
too.
yeah. Like those guys were on a whole other level at that point with Canadian. Like they just won USN. Like those guys were fucking smoking everyone. That's when Canadian actually 1v5 LG in workshop.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm getting thirsty with the jug. Getting thirsty. So we have the boot camp. I finally meet Grexer for the first time, even though he lives in my fucking up to my city the whole time.
Been literally living in
Living
the
in my
same city as your teammate for like 2 years. Never met him.
Never met him once. And like we go up with X. We go to Las Vegas, and we see you guys there. We see um, I mean we see all the pro teams there, and we're like the only pro team there. I guess like in the crowd. We're like, yeah, we're actually a pro team. We're just there for a boot camp.
hmm
And then no one scrimmed us. No one from USN scrimmed us because everyone wanted to play the land build.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it was kind of fucked. We're like, well, there goes the boot camp. So then we scrimmed drip for like 3 days.
You guys all flew to Las
Yeah,
Vegas to scrim drip.
we went to Las Vegas to scrim drip. But then, obviously after that we lose the quals. I think we get top 6, something like that, or
You guys got
top 4.
fourth.
We got 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean we were pretty close, but like I said, no one was gonna be SSG to be honest. But
The
something just fell in
fuck?
the back.
Yeah, my poster fell. It's fine. Continue.
So at this point, like we're just grinding now. We're just playing with Reed a lot, and like Pro League starts. We beat Temple Storm because they're like our biggest rivals, I guess, because they just came out of seal with us, and like that's their first matchup. So like we gotta beat them. Then like the first, so Pro League back then was like seasons with splits, right?
hmm
It was like the first split you play every team once, you play every team again the next split, and that was like the whole season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was 2 splits. Because I actually remember this. Uh, it's like divided in half. But I remember you specifically. You did like good, like the first split, and then the second split you did like horrible, if I
Whoa,
remember
hold on, hold
correctly.
on. Let's not get
Okay.
twisted here.
Okay.
Listen, hey, let's not get twisted here. I got the
All
I,
right.
I got the splits in the back of my head. Don't worry.
Okay.
So first split, my first ever season of Pro League, like you know, I did pretty good, I guess. Yeah, I did individually. I did pretty good,
hmm
and we played with Reed, and we got fifth place, something like that. But like that was probably the
And Reed did pretty good as well as
yeah,
like
and
your
Reed did pretty
fill-in.
good. And then like this is the downfall of E United, in my opinion. At least when I was there, this is like the downfall when I was there.
Okay.
So Reed is gone. I remember Call was saying like Call felt awful, like we just lost Reed because Reed was really good and like our system was super good with Reed. So
Yeah.
Alfama comes and like obviously Alfama was a way different player, but like it just wasn't the same.
I personally felt like, and we literally like blacklisted your team because of like how you guys played. But I thought Alfama was horrible. Like
I,
I just thought he did not play correctly at all. He did not know how to play. Like I think he probably had like good aim, but I thought as a player that he was like literally terrible.
I didn't think Alfama was bad. I think we were all very hard headed, which was the problem with United. We were all just really hard headed with each other a lot. And like
hmm
execration got dropped. We didn't drop execration. The fucking the company basically said like we're gonna drop X because player had a
Who,
problem with X
who,
basically.
oh, United dropped X.
Yeah, I guess like a player basically had a didn't think X was doing enough and like X
What do
has
you know? What player it was, or you just not want to say?
I just don't I don't want to say it. I don't want to say
Okay.
who it was, but player just had a problem with X and just said the work like listen like this guy isn't really doing as much like and I agree like yeah X has a lot of stuff going on in his life this moment. He can't be there as a coach. He's gone.
Mm.
We get Bagel, and dude, I regret it.
So what happened with Bagel? Because
I
I've heard. I mean, I can throw in some stories with this that I heard as well. But like, what?
I mean, I don't know how many stories I can throw in there. Well, I'll say he's just the most interesting person I've ever teamed with, like, and had to have gotten information from. Like,
hmm Did you think he was a good coach or just horrible all around?
Bagel just had
And
this vibe. Like, first of
and
all,
how did you end up getting Bagel in the
yeah,
first
okay,
place?
so I had basically no fucking say. He's one of the players.
Yeah.
I had no say at all. No say at all. It was the Burns, our management wanted to make sure we get the next coach. So he interviewed Gotcha, and
hmm
Gotcha at the time. This isn't like a jab at Gotcha. But
He
this is
wanted to
okay,
play.
okay, no. Gotcha want to play. No, Gotcha want to be. Gotcha applied to be our coach. What I'm trying to say is, so Gotcha was a loser. That's because before this gets clipped and taken out of context, he was a loser in a good
I would
way.
agree with that.
Like not like that. Like he was a loser. Like his
No,
work,
I agree with
no,
what you
no,
said.
his work
Okay.
was just like really good. Like Gotcha was just a straight grinder. I remember like someone said that he was like a loser, but in a good way. Like, and we said we need losers. Like we need like
Right.
we need dudes who are just like will do absolutely fucking nothing but focus on the game with us. Like
hmm
someone that was like they'll be there just for us. And for whatever reason, we just didn't get gotcha. I can't remember really why.
I think it was probably because you felt like you wanted to play. Because I remember during this time, Gotcha was looking for work, and I don't even like Gotcha. And I messaged him, and I basically said, "We'll give you an interview. Like we're interested in you, but to be clear, you will not play. You will never play. And if you ever mention playing, you will immediately be fired." And he said that that wasn't what he was looking for. So I think Gotcha was still trying to play. Because remember, he eventually ends up playing for Evil Geniuses.
I'll say this, I didn't like I said, I was not involved in the coach selection process. It was the United management that was mainly involved. And so, like I said, like Gotcha was a like he was a workhorse, you know. Like the work
Yeah.
it was really like I said, it was really good apparently. Like apparently he was just a workhorse that like was really good. Like he was he was a loser in like he was like a loser in a good way. Like he was just a workhorse. But I guess Bagel just somehow gassed himself up with TSM's like performance, whatever, at Invite, and like, yeah, how I turned TSM from like a bottom team to like a top team with my coaching, whatever. And I think that just
Yeah.
somehow sold
Bagel
Burns.
made TSM. Everybody knows
Yeah.
that.
So I guess that somehow sold Burns, and like Bagel was just crazy. Like he just had all these whack stories, and just like this guy's been everything. He's been a cop. He's been like on a farm. He's just,
I
he's
heard
just
that
done so much. He's only like 21, bro.
I heard from TSM at Invite, like they were all like, it was like they had a game the next day. It was like in playoffs or something, right? And all the players, they were like eating, and then they go, they're like the players are going up to the room to like VOD review, and Bagel decides he tells them that he'll be up there in an hour or two. He just wants to stay and sign autographs. So all the players went up to like the room, and Bagel stays down signing autographs the day before like a playoff game.
I mean, he definitely wasn't like that star showed him on our team, but because we were losing.
Yeah.
And so like him being my coach made me change the way I played the game. Like my second split of pro league was underwhelming. Like I didn't do bad. Like I still had like the second highest stats. Whatever. Like I was still like arguably like the upper end player for the team. But like, dude, I was a bitch. Like these
Were
dudes
you?
like
Was
like
it just like you were playing? You guys were playing like super structured, or what would you say it was?
it's like our defense. Like I just like you know like no hate on them. Like they would just tell me sometimes like, oh, like you're on discipline right now. Like
Hmm.
you're playing the game wrong, or like you're just not following like what we need to
Who
do.
is we? Was this just Bagel, or did the team philosophy change like with Alfama and like Yeti as well?
I think the team philosophy changed. Not really when Yeti was there, because like I said, Yeti was there at the beginning and was good.
Yeah.
It's more so when Alfama came and the Bagel came too. Is also
Okay.
like a proprietor of that, and like I said, like that's when the team really turned split. Kind of like me, Grixer call out, not versus Yeti, Alfama, and
Well, Yeti and
Bagel, but like
Alfama also at
but,
the
but
like they became
Yeti and
like very
Alfama
good
were really
friends
close,
too.
and like they was super, you know, those two came like a little hard headed with us whenever we tried like saying stuff, and like Bagel again is just off the rail sometimes. Like like I said, like the strats he's making us sometimes are just absurd.
Hmm.
I remember one of the strats was like, we're gonna go on theme park, and like here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Throne. We're gonna play Mute Mozzie, and we're gonna barricade and put jammers on the top floor everywhere, like at key doors and stuff, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, we're also gonna barricade every single door up top and play horizontally. That was the whole strat. Literally, that was it. That was the whole strat. And stuff like that. And like at times he told me to play Caviera. I put Caviera against you guys in NAL. And like people think like, I'm just picking shit to pick shit. I'm like, bro, I'm just following the strat, bro. I'm just
So
following the
your
coach,
entire strat was to board up doors.
Top floor theme park and play Mute Mozzie just to burn time up top and
Okay.
make dudes waste ammo.
Hmm.
And that was a T1 coach telling me to do that.
Yeah.
And like I said, at this point, I just bought into the system because I had nothing else. Now I have to buy into it now. And like I stopped playing the same. I lost confidence in myself. Like I was playing like a bitch. Like because these dudes, because I know it's like if I lose this gunfight, if I don't swing, like if I don't swing my team or whatever, like if I'm not making a play, like I know like those guys are gonna get on my ass for it. Like it's just like I really like got numbed down basically over that period as a player.
Mhm.
And then like even then I was still like doing just okay. Like the second split of pro league, I just did okay. Like I didn't do good, I didn't do bad, I just did okay. NAL starts, and that's when I have like my worst season ever as a player. Just my mental was chalked at this point. I go to the house, like the United house, like my mental's just kind of chalked. I'm just like hoping that me coming to the house now is gonna like revitalize the team and like we're actually gonna work together. We're actually gonna, like figure things out. We're actually gonna be better.
Yeah.
And, like one of the first days there, my coach is fucking mooning me.
He's
I'm like,
mooning
yeah,
you?
I'm getting mooned. Yeah, I'm getting mooned. Like my desk is like I'm sitting far left. I guess. Oh, hold on. So the United house, like the Sonic's house, right? Because
That's where I am right now. This is
okay,
your room. This is the room you were in that I'm in right
okay.
now.
So you know how in the playroom
Yeah.
there's like at the entrance, like that one big entrance to it, right?
Yeah, yeah. By the main door.
You can see like the master bedroom with like the window.
Uh-huh.
So like I was sitting at the far left, and our PCs were facing that wall. So I can see into the lobby into the master window. So Bagel would sit up in his room during scrims. Yeah, he wouldn't be down there. He'd be up in his room during scrims, like doing God knows what. But like
Was he watching your scrims?
I have no fucking clue. I hope. But like he's then like telling me he says Forrest look up. And so like I'm looking up to my left now, and it's just fucking cheeks, just cheeks pressed up against the wall, bro, on the window. Just I'm like, dude, this is fucking insane. And like this is like this is the guy. This is the guy. It's like supposed to making me be better at the game.
Yeah. He's preparing you for anything.
And so then NAL starts and we just get smoked. Like we just get blown out the water. We lost reciprocity. I had no clue what to fucking do. Like I said, I was trolling. My first season of Pro League, I don't think I was trolling, but I can confidently say like my first stage of NAL, I was trolling. I was definitely I was just
Like
I was trolling
purposely, or
hard.
you were just like you
It
just
was
were
just
like checked out?
I was just checked out. Like
Yeah.
I was just checked out. Like my mental was chalked. Things really getting better. Like
Did you feel like call out was like in the same boat? Because at
yeah.
that point, as you said, remember it was like
It was kind of
you,
like
call out, and Grixer were the OG3, so you guys are kind of a group, and then Yeti and Alfama are a group, and then the coach is like probably with them.
yeah.
So there's like a divide on the team.
And it wasn't like there was never transparency, because there was transparency. It was just like we just didn't agree
Yeah.
on like the in-game decisions sometimes, or like strats. Like we just like I said, we were really hard headed with each other, and like people want to stand their ground. And I'm not perfect either. Like I love to stand my ground on the team. I love to do. I love to die on hills I shouldn't die on.
Hmm.
Like I was very like I would fight back on a lot of stuff sometimes. At that time, I was just like, it's probably because all the fucking time, these dudes are just coming at me constantly. Like I'm not getting better. I just feel like I'm getting worse. It's not like at this point in time in criticism, it's just like kind of breaking me down a little bit. But nevertheless, like
You felt like they were just like constantly harping on every mistake you made,
yeah, or like small
and
things.
then like and they were trying to play like a style that you didn't think was like the best or something.
The style wasn't really the issue. It was just more like just like the micro. The macro was okay. It was just the micro. Like they were just always harping on like you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like
Was
more,
call out still IGL at this time, or did call out also kind of lose like the IGL ability?
man, I think Call just lost confidence in the team because like there was just like sometimes no trust in each other.
Yeah.
And I think now it's like one of the biggest moments of my career was like the Jackal Shoddy incident. That was just like just such an insane that moment in itself, right? That moment right there was just unfucking real. Like everyone
Yeah.
thinks like, and here's what I mean. Like, so if I'm just walking up cool vibes, I'm like outside hookah. Now if I'm just talking, he says Forrest, like we need to kill this doc and you know pool table. I'm like, okay, let's kill this guy. So if I'm just like, you gotta think at this time, like I'm like an idol. I'm just standing there doing nothing outside hookah. I'm just standing there. I'm like a rock. I'm just standing there holding my angle because like I'm so afraid if I walk in, I'm gonna fuck up. I die. Like, they're gonna blame me.
Yeah.
So if Alma says like I'm gonna go kill this guy pool, he's just kind of looks at me. He says like I'm like he says oh like let's kill this guy. Let's kill this guy. And like again like at this point like you have to tell me what to do. I no longer go and do it myself. Like you have to tell me what to do. So to be honest, I left Alfama dry when he peeked Slevin in pool table and like he's like Forrest, what are you doing? Come help me. Because he dies. I'm like, well shit, now he needs my help, because he didn't ask for it before, and now he needs help. So like he dies. I run in. I'm just spraying the wall. Greg's just outside of Aqua, and like I make a hole in hookah, and like I see the guy right there, and I shit you not, you know, I had the shotgun out. I tried putting it away. I just put it right back out, and I'm like at this point I just gotta start shooting this guy. I gotta try. I gotta try shooting this guy. I got nothing else. That was such a blunder because I pulled out the rifle. I pulled it
Yeah.
out, but I put the shotgun. But then I guess I fat fingered to pull out the shotgun. I'm like, fuck, bro. I gotta try at least. And Slubber just smokes me. I remember Fon was just so pissed at me. I was like, dude, that just happened on stream.
Would they get when they would get mad? Would they get mad like in game, or was it like after the game they would just start fucking
It was
roasting?
it was usually after the game and like during our briefs and stuff and
Yeah.
like post matches and never really usually in the game. But you can feel it. I can feel it. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
gone. I
There's
knew
like a clear divide on the team.
I'm
Yeah.
like I'm gone. I knew like either like half the team's going or I'm going. It was simple
Mm-hmm.
as that at that point. So we lose, and that game too. All by the way, I played Caviar against you guys. Bagel told me to play Caviar and to hide and Logi on Clubhouse, and I have no clue how we won that map. I have no fucking clue. That was like such a close map. Then we just got mopped for like the rest of the series. We just got pieced up after that. And we got
Yeah.
so hyped when we're like, let's fucking go. We won a map. Fucking mob. And then we lose a Tempo Storm, and that's the end of it. And
Yeah.
I remember there's just this one moment too, where Call like reinforce elbow. I do it right now, and Yeti just for whatever reason just did reinforce elbow. And so I'm in freeze. I'm holding pillar. I'm like, it's on Oregon. I'm like I'm holding a good angle. And a Call and Yeti are just talking like, man, like just like reinforce the damn wall, but like no one's reinforcing it. Out of nowhere, Critters just walks an elbow and just two pieces us. And I've been fucking freezing holding pillar, and the whole time while I hear my teammates comment like, get the wall, but why is no one getting the wall? Like they're talking like, get the wall, but no one's getting it. Alfon was Clash, no, Grixer was Clash, I think, and like,
You guys had Grixer on Clash.
I mean, listen, it was listen, man, I wasn't making these strats, bro. Like I said,
Yeah.
I was mentally chalked out. Like I was checked out. I was chalked out, checked out, I was gone. And then I guess so after this is when I guess what comes around goes around is when I got dropped. So if I'm not mistaken, from what I know,
Yeah.
Fama and Yeti, like, they didn't go behind our backs. They just had the or just talk to them and ask if a roster change needed to be made. But Bagel pushed for me and called to be dropped. But I guess Bagel approached Grixer about it, and Grixer said, "Yeah, there should be a roster change." But Bagel didn't say who should be dropped though to Grixer. He said he just wanted Grixer's approval for the roster change. He didn't say who though.
Mm-hmm.
So Bagel kind of used those 3/5 to drop me and call out, and I guess like Bagel tells like the org like, hey, like Forrest and Collar are like Stalin and Hitler, like these guys are taking over the team, like these guys are just like they're breaking everyone down, like they're just. I'm like, I didn't know any of this till after, by the way. I didn't know any of this, so I'm just sitting there at home. I'm playing Terraria. I'm playing
Yeah.
a fucking pixel game. I'm like, Yeah, I'll play some ranked and I'll play some. I'm grinding. I'm just playing games at this point now, and I'm gone. Next day, like Burns gets on the call, says, "Listen, guys, we're in a call, team call." So Grixer was surprised because he thought it may have been for like Yeti and Alfama, but then it was me and Call that got canned because, like I said, Bagel kind of used the 3/5 on Grixer, kind of like twisted it, thinking it was those two, but it was us.
Uh huh.
So then we're sitting there like Burns like, "Yeah, we're gonna let you guys go. Don't do anything in the meantime, whatever, yada yada yada." I'm like, "Shit, I'm gone, bro." I said, "You know what? I can't be upset because, like I said, I knew I was trolling. Like I knew I was like purposely trolling, but I knew I was like,
You just weren't playing well.
I just wasn't like, yeah, I deserve to be dropped."
Did Pablo like? Did he try to like say like, wait, what the fuck? That's not what happened, or is he just like,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
he told us after, like, yeah, like this isn't like how it's supposed to be unfolded. Like, this is like not what he was told at all. And we told Girk's like, listen, like, just stand the team at this point. Like, he's gonna be without
was
us.
he
Well,
considering leaving the team?
yeah, but there was no point though.
Yeah.
Like why would you give like I can't blame him for not leaving because like why would you give him like a spot like that? You just wouldn't.
Hmm.
So and this is the highlight of a big one for me. This is the highlight. So I just got dropped on the spot. Like I'm right there in the practice room. Everyone's next to me. No, all to my right. Bagel's behind me. I'm gone. Like I just got told I'm gone, and I'm like, fuck, bro. I'm toast. So Bagel has the audacity to like he says, "Call in Forrest. Let me talk to you guys outside." And like I said, Bagel was the one who pushed for all of this. Who started all of this, and like
Yeah.
he started all of this. And he starts crying outside to us. He starts to cry. He starts to tell us like, "Hey, I don't want any of this to happen. I don't want you guys to be gone." And again, like I have no clue of how this happened.
Is he like a
I have
mental
no clue.
patient?
Like
He's crying.
Bagel's crying. He says like he says I wish it had to be like this. He said like the org wants this. And again, Bagel was the one who pushed the roster, and it's not anyone else. He was the one who pushed for it. And like it was just so crazy. And then we're not even at the best part yet. This is the best part right here. He's asking the mid crawl. He's like, "Listen, guys. Like I don't know who we get. Like who do you guys think we should pick up? Should we get Butters?" He starts naming people off, and I'm like, "What the fuck? You're asking me who you guys should pick up for my spot when I just got dropped? Like, in front of me? Like, you're asking me who you should pick up? Like, fuck no."
I mean, maybe you had some good advice.
And then, and I remember Yeti like walked up to me after, like, he says like, "Yeah, bro, I'm sorry this happened. Like, I knew about this for like a week. As if that was supposed to like help me. As if him
Yeah.
knowing." I was like,
He knew
"Thanks,
you were gonna
Yeti."
be dropped for a week.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
was like,
good,
"Thanks,
dude. Don't worry
Yeti."
about it.
I was like, "Thanks. That helps a lot. You telling me." So that night, I was just moping and being down to myself. The next morning, I'm gone. I'm just gone.
Yeah.
I'm within 12 hours. I was told I'm being dropped. I was gone within 12 hours. I'm gone. Like I left the house, took all my shit. I only said bye to call out. Gretchen wasn't even at the house. She was like still in Arizona.
Oh
And,
yeah, I'm sure.
and
Yeah.
then like I get back here and like I'm just my PC breaks instantly as I put it down. Instantly. The glass just shatters, and I think to myself like this is just the worst moment of my life right now. I just lost my dream job. My PC just fucking broke in my fucking hands. Like there's just glass everywhere. My hand's bleeding a little bit. I'm like, this is just fucked. So me and Carl are talking like, listen, let's do it again. For like, we
Let's
had to,
run it back.
let's
Look,
run it back. We're
listen, that
basically
went
like,
really well. I think we run it back.
we're basically just like at this point we're like, let's just run it back, bro. We're like, I told him I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And so we hit up players, we hit up DP Fire, we hit up Yaga, we hit up Freak, we hit up Melted. Um, we have just a whole bunch of underage players, a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And X is now back with us. X says, listen, let's make a team. Let's run through CL. Let's fucking do this. So we recently tried out Melted Freak, not Melted, DP Fire, Yaga, and
Yeah.
it was that's a that's a pretty stacked team. Like just for Challenger League, that's a pretty stacked team for Challenger League. Like
Hmm.
having those three
So
alone. Then
this is like mid 2020 right now.
this is like 2020 July.
Okay.
And so at this point, I made my amends with everyone. I got beef with no one. Not even Bagels, but like, even Bagel, I got no beef with him now. He's out
Well,
of my
I
life. He's
heard.
gone. He's gone.
Well, I heard that Bagel ended up getting
Oh,
fired
oh yeah,
because
he
he
did.
he tried to fight. He tried to fight Alfama.
I mean, I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything, but yeah,
Yeah, that's just what I
uh,
heard. I'm not confirming or denying anything, but I heard that he got fired because he tried to fight Alfama.
Bagel got himself fired. It's just, that's all I see. He got himself canned.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Hold on, let me switch. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I had the earbuds on. They were piercing my ears too much.
That's why I like to wear these now. I don't like the earbuds.
So we're like, let's run it back. Fuck it. We're gonna run it back.
Just really brief.
So DP Fire, I guess, doesn't like he just thought PogChamp was the better offer because it was like Prod, Jarvis. Um,
Well, anytime you can team with Prod, you gotta do it.
do you know the rest of that team or no? It was Prod, Jarvis, Trippin, DP Fire, and I just can't remember the fifth. Maybe Brian. I don't know. But basically, Sweater was on that team before. He was on PogChamp, but then Sweater went to Rent Free.
Mhm.
So I guess DP Fire went with them. So we play with Freak, and like Freak is nasty. This kid can fucking shoot. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, we also tried out creators, um, on Pittsburgh Embers before that time too. Before we got Kilo, we tried out creators too. I
Okay.
forgot. There's another like, it's just interesting how I've seen a lot of pros and former pros we have played with now are still kind of like in the competition with me at this moment as well.
Yeah.
It makes sense, like so. We get Freak, Yog, and Melt It. It's solid. We like it. Yog is by far like my favorite teammate I've ever been with. I love that guy. Like,
Yeah,
him and
he's kind of like I think he appears to cuz we end up trying you both out like later on. But I think he appears to at least be more like serious nowadays, but
yeah,
he was always like very like kind of goofy. Like everybody
he's a,
knows like the way he talks and everything.
I'd like to think that Yog thinks the same about me because I think him and I really connected on Ape. Like I thought him and I were really tight. Like we got like really tight. Like we're just
Yeah.
we could say anything to each other. Like I every moment was just a good moment with Yaga. Even now, like seeing him like I go to the exit house, I have a good time with him.
Mhm.
One of my best teammates I think I've ever had. And so we qualified for Challenge League first fucking try, and we beat PogChamp. We beat fucking DP Fire. Like we smoked them. Like the same guy who like turned me down. We beat him. And again, like I think it would have been TP Fire for Freak, but TP Fire didn't take the spot, so we just chose Freak. And this is the part where it's fucked coming up. So now I'm thinking like my mental is fully changed now. It is like reversed. The confidence is back. I'm playing Smoke now. I'm basically like a support player again. Like I'm playing the second Heartbreach. I'm the map player. I'm one of the main zoners. I'm playing Smoke, full time Smoke. I'm the hard anchor player now, and I'm doing good, and I like it. Like I'm sure like my ops have been restricted now, but like I said, like I'll play anything at this point. I just want to win, right? So that was definitely like me kind of taking my ego and putting it in check and like letting other people kind of fill in because I don't need to be like one of the entries now. I don't need to be like one of those people. Like I can take a step back. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we played the last dance, and everyone says, "Oh, they're gonna smoke us." Fuck no. I think we were down like 1-6 on each map, and we came back on both of them and won them. I think each map started out 1-6. Like that's how they unfolded, something like that. And we came back and won them back to back. In those games, I was just dropping nukes. Like that game, I call it had like that less than a second clutch and kilo in blue. That was fucking
Mhm.
insane. Like that was such a good game day. And then this is the downfall of Ape right here. Rudy Cat.
The
Another
cat.
another agent of chaos. Just
Yeah.
man, I just can't believe that I lost to Beast Coast. Both times I played them. Like we played Beast Coast as season at Challenger League, and mind you, I'm playing like the kind of back end part of the team down. Like I top fragged. Like I dropped a shit ton of kills. I was making plays. I was keeping us in the game. Like I'm like doing whatever it takes to win right now. And Rudy's just my downfall. Rudy's just getting just kills out of nowhere. It's just insane.
He's going nuclear in
And
that
if
game.
Rudy gets an ace on us, then I think if Rudy never aces us, I think that team goes to Pro League. That's all I'm saying. I think we go to Pro League if Rudy never aces us on Theme Park. So that game, like Freak was just like, oh, like Freak just had an awful series. Like,
Is this where the I don't know if you've heard this. Is this where the freak always chokes in playoff thing starts? Because there's like a thing that I've heard from a lot of people is that freak just stat pads, but and in any of the important games he just gets like shit on.
I mean, this was like Freak's like first ever like T2 season. Like T2, this is like
Mm-hmm.
this is like his second game ever in like
Yeah.
in a higher comp league like, ever. So
Yeah.
I think the pressure just got to him, and like that was the one game like I really needed like anyone. Like I thought everyone did good. It was just like that was just like Freak's first bad game,
Mm-hmm.
and like that was a game that he just shouldn't have had a bad game on. Because like even if he does like a little bit better, I do think like we go to the next game against Rent Free, and I do think
You
like
guys lost. You won 8-6 and then lost 5-7, 5-7. So yeah,
yeah
literally just
yeah
a
it's really
round or
just
two.
like you know like I just needed him like that game. I really needed him, and he didn't fail me, but he didn't
He
show up
shit
the
his
way
pants.
no, he just didn't show up the way like I needed him to that day. And
Yeah, shit his pants.
so then after that, Freak gets banned, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" And he told Enrio to just I don't want to say the words, just in case I might get
Yeah.
clipped and used against you. I don't want to say
Let's
it
just say that he told a player on another team
to do something, and
to do something to himself that you should not say to another human being.
you know that happened, and people ask me like, "What's gonna happen to your team?" I'm like, "Dude, first of all, I have no fucking clue." So now at this point, we're looking for a fifth. Because
Yeah.
Freak can't play. Freak just got banned for like a year, something like that. Um, not a year. Was it a year? No, I don't think it was a year.
6 months, I think.
I think it was 6 months. Yeah, I think it wasn't a year. So we talked with Ubisoft. This is the part I hate the most. Ubisoft gives us like the green thumb. Ubisoft gives us the green thumb to pick up another player within the rulebook at that time to sub in for us, and that was Jay because Jay had played a season of Challenger League before,
Mm-hmm.
and like he was on a team, he qualified as a sub, and then all we had to do was get Faceit to say yes, and Faceit said no. We're like,
So
fuck
Face
no.
It said no, but Ubisoft said yes?
Yeah,
That doesn't really make sense.
I that's just the way I interpreted it all, and like the emails, like they told us to ask Ubisoft for the sub, and we said, hey, we got the green light from Ubisoft from an email, and we went back. Faceit said no, this won't happen mid-season. We're like, thanks, you know. So we play the execration, and then we get smoked. And like I said, at that point, it doesn't matter, right? Because that was like challenge again, where it's like if you lose, you're done. Like your season is over if you lose once. Like you're done. So the team gets kind of chalked for a little bit, but then like we come back, we do really good in the invite quals.
Mm-hmm.
I had some stinker games against the fucking Canadian teams. I was dogging those dudes. I think I played the Mirage team. I think I was like 16 and like 2.
Yeah.
Like I was just like we were handling some of the the pro teams, right? We were handling them. So we knocked out 2 Canadian teams. We made the close bracket, and then like, guess who had to play first? Rudy.
Rudy fucking cat.
Rudy fucking cat. I gotta play this bum again. I gotta play this fucking guy. And I lost that game. Like I said, like I was playing way better. I was playing much better Siege after I got dropped. It actually felt like I was dropping like consistently back to back like double digits or like really high number kill games and making
Yeah.
good plays. Like I was like the confidence was back, and I was doing it on like a support role too. Like I was doing it on a back end role, and I lost to Rudy again. Like I remember I aced the guy and I still lost. You know,
That whole tournament, like
it was
that whole
insane.
thing, well, it was fucking insane because the finals. So remember, the Sonics would have 100% been the favorite to win that, but we kicked everybody. So that was when it was like me, Iconic, easily Slebin and Gomfy. We would have been by far the best team like in that part of the tournament, right?
Yeah.
We like kicked everyone, so we didn't have a team. So either Spirits, Eska, Euphoria, Sonar, and Penguin made the finals, and they were playing against Ghost, Anthony, Sippin, Rudy, and Fozo. So literally and that went 3-2. So literally we were one map away from Fozo, Rudy, Sippin, Anthony, and Ghost being at Invite. That is just like that is like a unreal situation. Like that is a different universe.
I mean, Rudy just powers up against me. Like that's all I can say. He just powers up. So we lose, and like I said, like I was at that time I was back. Like I was at like the start of my career. I was kind of like up here,
Yeah.
and then like I kind of went down like here. But I actually thought I was way better. I thought I was at a much higher spot. Like the
Mm-hmm.
ceiling was raised, so was the floor. Like I was at a much better spot individually than I had initially started my pro career. Even though I was in Challenger League, like I thought I was way better.
Right.
So then that's when I started asking for tryouts. So I asked for you guys for a tryout. Obviously, I didn't get the spot.
Well, we tried you
Uh,
out, and I think the mistake we made was we tried you and Yogg out together. And we did that because obviously you guys were like teammates coming from Ape. But I thought that it also was like you guys were so fucking like goofy playing together that I just felt like, because at the time it was me, Grixer, and who was your tryout with? Was it
Wimpy.
me?
It was Wimpy.
Okay, yeah. So me and Grixer were like the two. Like we were the people on the team. And so we were trying people out, and I think the mistake we made was we tried you out with Yogg. And Grixer and I just thought it was like a little too like goofy. Like you would be like, I'll never forget this shit. You were like calling out, and we're like, what's going on where? And you just go, on Forrest, on Forrest, on Forrest. And we're like, what? Where? You're just like, on Forrest. And then we were like, bro, what in the fuck is happening? This guy's calling out in third person.
I got that round. I got like a 4K too. It was on Villa. I was like at safe whatever. I was smoking those dudes up, and I was smoking them.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
you didn't even do bad in your like tryout, and neither did Yogg. But from like our perspective, we just like we were like trying to be a serious team, and we just felt like it was just like fucking goofy. Yeah, it was like a fucking circus or something.
That's just that's just me and Yogg playing at that time. I was just
Yeah.
we were just a bunch of goofballs together.
But I think if we try, like, I do think that if
Oh
I
my
tried
God.
you out, if I tried you guys out separately, that we could have ended up picking you up. I really do think that. Like, if we just gave you guys tryouts, just not together, that we maybe end up picking you both up regardless. But like together, it was just like in that tryout, it was like too much.
So after that, no, guys didn't pick me up. I got put the teams just in case because dude, that year 2021. I had so many tryouts and like so many like potential tryouts. Like I didn't get like a single spot.
Well, I think everybody saw that you were better than the players you were playing against in challenge. Like you were clearly a pro league player in Challenger League. I felt like you were just better than the other players that you were playing against, and I felt like you were like consistently putting up good numbers. So I'm it's not surprising that everybody was trying you out. Probably the most surprising is that it ended up taking you like another year basically to get picked up. And I honestly think the entire reason for that is just like
Reputation.
the stigma of goofiness, 100%. Like people just think you're like. I'm not gonna compare you to Yardy. You're a way better player than Yardy, but like in my mind, I can never play with Yardy in any kind of serious manner. And I felt like I don't think people think that anymore, but I think that people thought that like it would be too fucking like crazy playing with you.
I think personally that people they didn't play with me or they didn't give me like a chance because like probably think I was just like a moron, especially from like scrims. Because dude, I will say sometimes I just do. I don't think I have scrim energy because I still do a lot of the weird
Yeah,
things on game day, but like sometimes I just do just the most moron shit ever, and it just sometimes it just works.
yeah.
Like so, Challenger comes back up. You know, at this point we're ape now. It's like we get so God goes to the league.
Mm-hmm.
Freak is banned still, so we keep Jay. Then we're like Ab and I still playing. We're like you want to play with us?
Spacemaker.
Yeah. I mean, he did his job. Listen, no matter what people say, he did his job.
Matter of interpretation, I suppose.
And so like we played the first season of Challenger League, and our first game's like against Parabellum. In that game, I'm like, dude, I'm not losing. These guys, they just come hot off like making invite calls, whatever.
They
In that
got
game,
like
I dropped like
top
18. Like,
12 or something
yeah,
at
I just
invite. Yeah.
dropped like actually no, I think no, they were preparing for invite. I think because that's when invite got pushed back. So like that game, I dropped like 18 kills in them. Like, I went fucking nuclear.
Mm-hmm.
That season two, like we won that stage. I had a pretty good season too. Like the playoffs, I went nuke as well. Like that was a pretty good stage for me again. Like again, I always think like I think like I just show up. At least in challenge, like I showed up a lot, like, especially when it mattered.
I honestly think you were just way better than the people you're playing against, too, which
So then,
obviously helped.
so stage one ends. I'm like the number one highest rated player in the challenge playoffs. Like I just smoked KCP. I was smoking dudes the whole time. You know,
Yeah.
I just won the whole stage too. Like, I just won. So I DM'd Dark Series having tryouts. I DM'd them. I played ranked with them. Then like I guess for whatever reason they just thought like they couldn't imagine me playing with them.
To be fair, I can't imagine you
I
playing with
guess
them either.
I guess, but like
I just can't imagine you and fucking Troy Canadian running side by side.
well, I don't think Troy was there at the time. Like maybe he was. I don't know. But like
No, because it would have been for.
oh,
It was for
it was for
Pamba.
Pamba. Okay, yeah. But like there's this whole rumor that went around saying that I turned down a Dark Zero. First of all, fuck no, I wouldn't turn down Dark Zero. What the fuck? Those guys turned me down. The only disrespectful part I found was that they gave. I'm not gonna get the names of each other, but they tried out other players
Yeah.
that I can't say names here because I might start beef, but they tried out other players who I felt like I was better than.
Are you talking about
And had
MDK?
there was a whole other players that went into the scrims because they did the ranked part in the scrims, and I felt like I was like better than some of those players because I had like the stats to back it up. I had the experience. Like I had like I can play it in a structured system. Like I've done it before,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm doing it acting right now. Like I can play any role at this point. Like I calm a lot. Like I call a lot. Like
They
I
just never. Dark Zero just never gave you a real chance.
yeah, I feel like they never gave me like a real chance. And to be
Because
fair,
you never even got a scrum with them. You literally only got to play ranked with them.
and like dude, you can ask like the people I play ranked like dude, like the people we were playing against were demons. Like I don't know who else was playing ranked with them, but like the guys I had in my ranked tryouts, those guys were fucking demons. Like, but we were all getting shit on. I'm like, dude, this is
I
going.
got to be honest, and maybe this is just because it's me. If a team asked me to try out and ranked, I would just say no.
I mean, you know, the beggars can't be fucking shooters type of thing, you know, like.
No, you gotta be a sav. You make the rules. If you want me to try out, I will try out in a competitive game. I don't enjoy playing ranked. I don't know how to play ranked. I play competitive.
So then I try out. I don't try. I asked for 2 tryouts. I asked for SSG because that's when Luke was playing.
Yeah.
But Lycan says like, yeah, we'll get back to you. You know, he didn't get he didn't get back to me.
He said, "Yeah, sure,
And
whatever."
to be honest, like I get it. Like Hot and Cold was the goat. Like
Yeah.
no one like Hot and Cold was arguably the best pickup at that time for any team. Even if Dark Zero picked it back up, to be honest, like you're not gonna get a better player than Hot and Cold. So like
Mhm.
I don't blame SSG at all. Like yeah, I don't blame him for not giving me a trial. Like you know they quite literally picked up the goat that year. So and I asked Exit for a tryout, and I
This
guess
was ass exit. This was
this
like
was
Yardy exit.
Thomas, Yardy, Creators, and Filthy, and I guess talking with Jip, like I guess two players didn't. I guess
Filthy and
like me.
creators.
I mean, I don't want to say that. I guess like just two people just didn't think like I was good enough, or like they just think I was good enough for a trial. I guess so. I was like, okay, I'll cut my losses. No one
So
in the
that
league
was the
wanted
second
me.
time in your career that Filthy shut you down. Because on
Actually,
your first team ever, Filthy dropped you. And then you're
I,
trying to get a tryout in Pro League, and Filthy shuts you down. Filthy fucking hates you, Forrest.
I,
What did you do to Filthy?
I got no beef. I got no beef with them, bro. And like I
He's
said,
got beef with you.
you know, it's tough. Like I said, I just find like I was willing to take any T1 offer,
Yeah.
and I think I didn't DM Mirage, or if I did, they just didn't even answer back to me.
Yeah, they already had Knicks, so you were out
Oh
of
yeah,
luck
yeah.
anyway.
So I want to say after that, season 2 starts or challenge or whatever. Like the next stage starts, H2, and like
Hmm.
we just get like, bro, we get
You
handled.
guys almost get last place. I
We almost
remember
get
that.
last place, and even though I still did pretty good individually. I still had like I was like plus 12 still. I was still doing my thing. I was still holding it up, but like we had a bad stage,
Yeah.
and like Melted is just off the rails. He's just gone. He goes a Parabellum. He just no trust in the system. Sure, I
Was
lost my boy.
was Melted toxic?
I think Melted. I think Melted like mm, he wasn't toxic towards me, but Melted was
But he was
definitely.
toxic.
Well, okay, so I thought Melted a lot swung at Forceful, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's Canadian.
He's easy to bully because he's Canadian.
I don't know. Melted definitely had more respect for I guess the players usually, at least for me and Call Out. Yeah, I guess he did for like I don't want to say for rest of the team, but definitely had a little less respect for Forceful, and it definitely showed a lot. So Melted leaving definitely didn't help, and then Ab and I was just like off the rails. And Jay got poached from Beast Coast. Jay's gone. We're like,
Yeah, that
fuck.
was a huge loss.
I mean, it was. Listen, whether you want to believe it or not, Jay was a very
Yeah.
integral part of our system. Again, like it doesn't
A
matter the
very
players.
Jay was a very integral part of your last place team.
Listen,
He was the
listen,
Jay was the fucking backbone of that last place team,
listen.
Forrest.
No matter what people say, like the players that we have, it doesn't matter the players we have.
Yeah.
We just have that much trust in our system. You know what I mean? Like and usually it just comes to just players showing up in game day. Like
Hmm.
that's all. At that point, it's just relying on individual effort and skill rather than strategy. Because I don't think we were losing strategy wise. We definitely just lost because of like we were just getting shit on. Like the dude were just 1-on-1s like constantly.
Yeah.
Because like I said, at this point we're dry running constantly. Like I said, for the past 2 3 years of my life, I'm dry running constantly. I am doing sometimes double streams. I'm streaming a shit ton. I'm like doing like I'm just doing individual shit. Like the whole team. It's a whole team effort. Stage 3 rolls around. We pick up Freak and Mahesi. Freak's back. The fucking that fucking guy. And then what should I always pick us up? We're very grateful for those guys. We failed them, to be honest. We let them down.
Hmm.
They gave us a boot camp, and that was like arguably some of the best siege ever during that boot camp. Like it was rough to start up, but then like towards the latter half of the boot camp, we were smoking pro teams. We were handling other CL teams. We were just completely dominant in practice. Just completely like we were in form. And like that boot camp was insane. Like people shaved their fucking heads. My head was basically shaved. Like our
Yeah, you
analyst
guys were like a
swallowed a
wait,
banana.
I remember everybody thought you guys were fucking insane. You were like a fucking military camp.
Listen, let's just say like if Invite was at that time, we would have won it. I'm that confident in that time of
Okay.
practice. In that we were that good. And then like we played Gotcha. And Gotcha the season before beat us, He embarrassed me. So that game was personal. That game against Gotcha, it was personal. I had to lay down the law as Thunderbird. I laid on the law on them. So then we get first place in our group, head in the playoffs, and this is just like the downfall.
Again, downfall part 2.
And like, it's no one's like, looks like more so like the downfall on game day. Like we just, even though I guess I did good, I guess, but like,
Yeah, you were plus 7.
it doesn't matter because like we're all getting shit on. Like,
Well,
again,
I will say, in hindsight, now you guys lost this game 6-8, 6-8 to Ariel, but in hindsight, their roster was better than yours.
God,
They had Diaz,
come on,
Wimpy, Gomez, Beasley, and Kento. That is a better. Your team was you, 2-piece Mohis, Freak, Ab, and Call Out. They had a better team than you guys. Like, just maybe at the time some people haven't developed, but if you're just looking at that roster, it's not a surprise that Ariel beat you guys, right?
Oh, I got nothing to say. Oh, and I asked TSM for a tryout during this. I don't know what to say, but during the whole fiasco after Mexico, I asked them for a try, and I just got no response. So that's another team that I thought.
Who are you asking to try out for?
TSM.
I know, but like, what player was it? Was it Chala?
No.
Or was it Mert?
I think it was the Merc situation. That was when I asked, like,
yeah.
Hey, like, you guys try players out because, Pojo just DM'd one of my players.
You think in there? Who did he DM?
He DM'd Mo.
So he would have tried. He wanted to try out Mo, but not you.
I guess, yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, Mo's a beast. Like,
I agree, Mo is good.
Rightfully so. Mo's a beast. So, no bad blood. Again, like I got no problems at all with people not trying me out. I guess like the only problem is like I just wasn't given the shot. I was never able to flex out ever. Like I was never ever able.
So you've reached out to all these teams,
so I've reached out.
Only us gave you a tryout.
So you guys the only thing gave me a tryout. All the three didn't even. One of them kind of gave me a tryout, but like it wasn't even really a tryout. It was just like
you played ranked.
And then like never gonna scrim with them. Then DM 3 other teams. So that's like basically like 6 teams at this point who turned me down. And there's only like 9 teams in the league, so I'm literally running out of options at this point. I then go on my hiatus, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, we just lost. Like, I have no clue what to do now at this point because I actually broke up with my girlfriend in the summer because I was that confident in the team that we're gonna go to Vegas, and like, I was that confident that I was willing to sacrifice a relationship to go to Vegas. Like I was that confident in the team. Like I chose the team over my personal life. Like I thought we were that good, and then we fucking lost. So that fucking sucked, and I definitely fucked up there. But moving on from that, like I told the team, like, listen, like this is the last shot we got. Is invite quals. Let's fucking do it. We know we can do it.
So at this point, for these invite quals, this is like you're saying this is it. Like this is that we're breaking up after this. Like it's not gonna. I'm saying. Out.
I mean, like Forrest was like, I might be gone. Colt's like, I might go to the farm. App's like, yeah. Like, that's the point where we're like.
To the farm? What is that? Like you take him out to pasture? He's like Old Yeller? What does that mean?
Just the farm.
Call out's going out to the farm.
It's just the farm.
Once you go to the farm, you don't come back.
It's just the farm. That's all I can really say. It's just the farm. I'm saying like, yeah, he's probably get back into school and stuff and do his own shit, and we're like, okay, it's time we step up and do this then. So before all this, by the way, too, Little Bird, I get another DM from another pro team, Beast Coast. They're asking me, hey, we'll give you a tryout. I'm like, they came to me. saying, "Hey, look at me try." I didn't go to them. They came to me. I'm like, "Well, thanks. I appreciate it." I'm asking when. They said, "I don't know. We can try." I said, "Well, I told Ape they have my word. I'll stay with the team until invite calls, until after it, right? Like I'll be here
Yeah.
for the invite calls with this team, and then I'm free after that." I could have chose to play with Beast Coast, but I chose to play with my boys instead.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't regret the decision at all. That qualifier, we played Beast Coast, and, and we beat them. And that game, I was like the top frag for our team too. Like I was making, like, I wasn't handling Beast Coast, but I was definitely working them. That was kind of like me flexing out on them, like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm kind of the player you guys are asking to try out, and now I just beat your team, and I had a good game too. Like, because then I lost to Parabellum. Who else was in that invite qualifier? Do you know? I got it.
Like Astralis was, FPL Queens, One Shot, Ariel. I think pro team wise, it was Astralis and Beast Coast, and that was pretty much it.
Oh,
Because the
dude.
other teams were in the closed
And
qual.
then so again, it's like we lost to Ariel and Parabellum in Challenge League, and then you know who we lost to in these quals? Ariel and Parabellum. That's who we lost to. We lost to those two teams again. And so I was like, dude, I'm done. Like, how do we beat like pro teams? We beat like good stacks and like other still teams. We always lose to these two teams. We always lose to them.
To be fair, both of those rosters were definitely better than
Come
Beast
on.
Coast. They're definitely better than Beast
Listen.
Coast.
That's not the point. So, you know, I posted that video, whatever. I said like I have no clue what I'm gonna do anymore. I might be done. I'm like maybe hang up the hat. I'm taking a break for like a month.
So you didn't. So when you beat Beast Coast, did you know? Like, did you think you were gonna get a tryout still, or they just
Yeah,
said they
I
just
thought
told you no?
I thought I was gonna get a tryout. They left me in the dark the whole time. I got no response after that because Yardy and them got the fucking God knows how they got onto the team. All those fucking dudes.
Because they
Yeah,
made deep runs like in the tournament, like their team
yeah.
probably.
Like it was like FPL Queens, and again Rudy was an FPL Queens. Rudy is back again. Rudy is now jeopardizing my tryout. So I'm just joking with that, by the way. Like
Rudy fucking hates you.
Rudy helped FPL Queens beat Astralis twice, and then helped FPL Queens get that far into the tournament. You know, like the part I didn't like about the Beast Coast thing was like, I wish they had just told me, like, we're not gonna give it a try anymore. Okay, things change. Like, they just tell me that. They kind of just left me in the dark.
Hmm.
Because last I heard was like, I beat you guys again, whatever. You guys told me multiple times you're interested. Okay, what's happening from here on now? Left in the dark the whole time. So that kind of sucked. So that's now 7 teams, if not mistaken, that have now turned me down.
When you
It's
play against all these teams nowadays, do you kind of like think about that, like these motherfuckers? Because Astralis, like obviously this stage stuff, and we'll get to Astralis, but so far this stage, obviously you guys haven't been doing good. But before this, like, are you like these motherfuckers didn't even respond to me? They wouldn't even give me a fucking tryout. And you've been like I would say one of the better players in NA this year. Do you like think about that when you're playing them?
no. I think I'm still very humble. Like I'm still very grateful that like where I'm even at right now. Cause like
Yeah.
I can't like think. I don't think about like whether or not they could have had me. Like dude,
Hmm.
like last time I played pro, like, I was a bum. Like you know, I'm just I just want to be able to just be able to make it in the first place and like earn my worth instead of
Yeah.
having to like. 'Cause I think you said it before too. Like if someone's good enough, they'll be in the league. Like no one deserves a spot. Like if they're good enough, they'll be in the league.
That's what I always say.
So obviously like I wasn't good enough. Because like
I never. Well, so that I kind of disagree with because they can't really say you're not good enough. They just weren't even giving you the chance. Like, how can they say you're not good enough? They don't even let you. They don't even give you a scrim. And in my opinion, you're like putting up good enough numbers where in CL, where like you're worth a look. So I don't necessarily agree that they can say like, oh, you just weren't good enough. Like they never gave you the chance. For most people, that's probably true. But I 100% agree with what you said. All the people that always say, oh, I should be in Pro League, I could be in Pro League. Again, the teams spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to be in the league. Like, if you were good enough to be in Pro League nowadays, especially, you will be in Pro League. The teams want to win. They need to win. So I agree with that, but I do think that I do not think that you were given necessarily the chance in a lot of situations. Like the fact that some of these teams weren't even responding to you, it's kind of like, I bet they wish they did now.
I mean, I don't think they wish it. Like I said, like I got no bad blood or I got no problem with them, like you know, not replying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, I just like I said, like I put myself in this light of like being one of those ex pros now, because like I said, I was technically an ex pro who didn't do good
Yeah,
in pro league. You know, so like no one's gonna look at my first split of pro league. No one's gonna look at that at all. No one's gonna look at the time I was in pro league because I was only in there for like less
I
than
looked
like
at that Forrest. That's why I tried you out.
I
I
was able,
said, look at Forrest. And his first season, he did good.
I was in
Then
pro
he
league for like
did
5
bad.
months. You know, and but dudes are like who dropped multiple times and somehow get back on the team. So I think I got placed in that category of players where like they're not gonna see me good anymore because I did bad in T1 before. Like, they're
I
not gonna,
honestly, I'm telling you, I do not think that your T1 performance even mattered. I think people thought that team was a shit show. I literally just think that people thought because of like FPL and everything, like I'm not even joking, dude. I'm telling you, I think people simply just thought that you were too goofy and that you couldn't be serious. I literally think that was it. I do not think it had anything to do with like your performance as a pro league player before. I think it simply was they thought they couldn't take you serious. They thought you were too goofy.
FPL is a whole other story. I tell you that FPL is
Yeah. Well, nowadays FPL is
it's the
fucking
chaos. Age of chaos
yeah.
were real.
Yeah.
I remember there was one FPL game. Um, it was me, Yeti, Rexon, Abenine, someone else versus Fox, Folt, and there's a whole bunch of other people. And like we were down like 1-5. We lost 5 rounds in a row. It's on Villa, and we're like, Yeti's like, guys, just play the fucking game. Like everyone just don't run around, and just have fun. And so like we're like, okay, let's do it. So we win 7 rounds in a row after that. It is just straight chaos. It is like dudes running out, dudes hopping out blue window shit. Like we're just hopping out mud. We're just we're peeking everything. Like we're impacting people to death. Like
Yeah.
we're winning. Like we're just doing just such moron shit. And like we completely killed the queue that night. Like we made some of those dudes stop playing FPL for like a little bit. Like
Little did you know that the pro league team you would be on not much long after would play the exact same way.
no comment. I can't confirm or deny that. So the timeline where we at? We said Beast Coast turned me down, and um, so I play with Biologic, Rudy. I'm with Rudy now. The guy who's been beating me my whole
Your arch
career.
nemesis.
I'm with him now, and I will say Rudy is one of the best teammates I've been with. He thinks just like me. He plays really well. Him and I are very compatible teammates. Like he thinks like me. He knows what I'm doing. He knows the cheese. Like he's a good cheese player. Like he can cheese well. I
Yeah.
like that. I like cheese players. You know, if he
Well,
can cheese.
remember, I think that Fox ended up saying that this wasn't true. But remember that OXG like supposedly offered Rudy or wanted Rudy, and in Challenger League, Rudy was always like a support player. But then when he went to Pro League, he didn't play support. They had him on like different. He was playing like weird roles in Pro League, right?
Yeah.
So I kind like, and now I think Rudy's just washed and like lost his mind. But I kind of think like I honestly think Rudy's career could have potentially gone different in Pro League if he just stayed playing support, but they like fucked with him.
I think Rudy 100% would still be in the league right now. I 100% after playing with him, I think he's very good. I think he does have attitude issues 100%,
Yeah,
but
that was another thing. He's toxic.
if you have a team that like Rudy likes a lot, like every player, I promise you that team like will do good. I
Yeah.
promise you that. Like that team was gonna be one of the most pressure teams ever. It would just be just chaos players to be honest. Just players that just cause chaos
Yeah,
constantly.
Rudy is actually like he would be a good meta player right now. Like I feel
Yeah,
like he would
hundred
fit in the
percent,
meta.
100%, 100%. But so I played with Rudy and Bile for a little bit. I was with Psychosis and Twist and Barn and Matt Bonger. You know, I had a good time. And then played small tournaments for a little bit. January rolls around, and at the point, like I said, I wasn't really scrimming. Like I was sort of scrimming, but like I wasn't playing. Like I was just playing just to keep my mechanical skill up. Just to
Yeah.
keep like so I'm not out of the games. So like I said, so now we're sitting at 7 teams who have turned me down. So the only 3 teams that are left are going to be Parabellum, Mirage, and Astralis.
Hmm.
So I DM Astralis during the offseason, like, hey, you guys have a tryouts? Like, let me know. Like, I heard you guys because I heard like Retro got dropped. Did it get dropped? Like,
Did you know at this point that call out was going to become the coach?
no.
Oh.
So Astralis turned me down before Astralis even had a call out. I mean, yeah, Astralis turned me down before they had a call out. So I was like, okay, well that fucking sucks. Like, they said like they're not interested in me right now. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, who cares? Got potentially 2 more teams. Parabellum tries me out, and it was kind of an
Who are
odd
you trying
tryout.
out for on that team?
I was trying out for, I think Spirits, not his
Oh, him
spot, but like,
leaving
yeah,
to.
him leaving and some other player because I was trying with someone else too.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was playing like flank watch on that team,
Yeah.
and I guess for whatever reason, Parabellum tells me like, oh, you wouldn't be a good fit, you know.
It's
Again,
because you
I
don't
again
speak
and again
French. They're
it's like
racist.
I play these guys every season. Like I play them every season, and I've done good against them every single time. I'm the one player that's a problem for them every time. You think like
Hmm.
this,
Did you decide? Is that when you've decided that Parabellum were racist and they only
well,
like French people?
well, I didn't say that.
I could see it in your eyes, Forrest.
I have a French last name, so if anything, no, they would want
So
me because
maybe that's why you got the tryout, but then they learned that you weren't
I
actually
don't speak
French,
French.
and they were like,
So then, like, I'm like, I'm out of options at this point. Xset DM'd me, the new Xset DM'd me, saying, hey, like,
Bodega
listen.
mentioned that on the pod that they were gonna try you out or wanted to potentially.
So actually, they yeah, like they can't tell me too much still. It's under wraps still. They're like, they say you want to give it a tryout though, but just in case this player doesn't work out, where he
Mm.
can't come to the team, which is Tino, obviously. Like, I'm like, sure. So I talked to them for like 2 months straight, till like February. Then in February, they're like, we're not gonna go forward with you. I was like, okay. Thank you. But they still kept me in the loop of what's happening. And it's only like, yeah, it's just not gonna
But
work.
that was just like the biggest blue balls ever. Like you're talking to them for 2 months. They're like, yeah, we're
I wouldn't
tryout's
say,
still on.
I
So
wouldn't
and
say,
then all of a sudden
yeah.
one day you wake up and they're like, listen, I don't think this is gonna work out. It's
Uh,
not us. It's
I
you.
mean, it was after invite, and they told me immediately after invite. So it's like, okay, like I said, they no regrets.
Yeah.
Like I said, like the Exit were the realest team besides you guys. Like, because you guys gave it a try, then Exit again just kept me in the loop the whole time. They straight up told me, yeah, it is gonna happen. Thank you. Like that's all this. Like, just thank you. You kept me in the loop. So now calls an Astralis, and he convinces them like, Forrest isn't that much of a moron. Like he actually do good. Like he actually is like he ain't that bad. So Astralis finally gives me a tryout, and Mirage gave me a tryout, and then Mirage just I have no fucking clue. I have no clue what happened with Mirage. Like I guess I just wasn't that good in that tryout because even when like New Origins Dream left, like those dudes still didn't give me another tryout because they gave me a tryout the first time, but then
Yeah.
like they never gave me another tryout. Like, and I kept asking like, hey, like I heard this happen, like you guys will try and
So
play this out.
they wouldn't even
And
give you a
fair,
tryout when Newers and Dream left?
I think so, yeah, because I asked like, hey, like, am I gonna get another tryout? He says, yeah, we'll give you another tryout. Then I never got it, and then
Hmm.
like At this point, that's now if you want to count both versions of exit, that's now
You've been
11
denied by
teams.
the entire league.
No, I've been denied by exit twice now on 2 different versions. So this is now 11 teams that have turned me down at
Yeah.
this point. So there's nowhere to go at this point. But then Astralis comes back, and they ask me like, "We'll finally give you a try," because I guess thinking they just didn't like I guess they just wasn't like he just didn't get enough from Astralis. I guess is the best way to put it. So then they're
I
looking
heard,
for a
yeah, I
player.
had heard that. I heard that Astralis wanted Nade, but Nade wanted more money than what Astralis would pay, and he just flat out said no if they won't pay him that amount.
Yeah. So that
Can
was just
I
like,
know this is kind of besides the point, and people who aren't watching won't see, but I noticed that DP went 1-10 yesterday, and then he just walked into the room like a bot, like an NPC. So is everything okay over there? You think?
everything's okay.
All right, just
I
checking
promise.
in, just making sure.
DP, are you okay? You see me with a thumbs up. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's cool.
All right, cool. Just making sure. He was walking a little funny.
I mean, he's a funny guy. But yeah. So then they finally gave me a tryout, and so it's an odds like me against like Prod,
And Nyx,
Nix, and let me tell you, like when I heard the word Nix,
you were nervous.
I was like, dude,
If
'cause
I what how would you have reacted if you found out that you didn't get the spot where call out at this point you knew call out was the coach too, right?
yeah, and I don't think
So
call it. I think it was biased. If anything, like I think
no,
call
I
was
mean
much
not
more harsh
biased,
on
but
me.
call out knows you, so some of the perception of you may being goofy or whatever, call out knows that's not necessarily the case. So he's giving you more of a chance than a lot of the other teams would. If
Yeah,
you would have found out that call out decided to pick up Nyx instead of you, Nyx,
I
how do
mean,
you react? Do you just lose your fucking mind?
no, I think that would have been the end of my career, or I was gonna play Challenger League with like Rudy, and me and Rudy were gonna build like just a chaos roster, just just dudes that just don't want to see the world burn. Like
Yeah. You, Rudy, and Druid.
I have no clue. I have no clue who we would have got, but all I know is it just would have been that team would have been a hell in a cell. Every fucking day it's been a hell in a cell. So I was next to tweeting out like leadership quotes during like tryout. Like I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude,
This
like
guy's fucking. He wants it. He's
this guy,
he's tweeting out
fine.
leadership quotes. This
And
guy's
I'm like,
serious.
dude, he's getting it. I was like, dude,
You should have just started tweeting out the same shit.
I was just offline. Like I didn't talk to them as much. I guess like Nick's was really active with the team basically at that time. Like
Mm.
he was really just talking a lot to them.
Just
And
trying to
that was
kiss their ass.
no, he wasn't kissing their ass. He was just
No, he was
talking to
kissing
them.
their ass. It's all right. He was kissing their ass. It's all right.
Uh, all I can really say is he was just he was doing more than me. And I thought like, bro, this is like fucked.
You were
So
playing
like,
it. You were like the dude who like gets the number and you like call her like a couple of days later. Nyx was the dude who got the number and he called her like when they were still on the same block. He could still see her.
I guess.
They were just
So
at the opposite end of the street.
I guess like the last day of the tryout I had with them, like I guess I did really good. Like I flexed out enough to where like I impressed them, like, and I kind of put me over the edge over Knicks. So then I was very like, I'm very grateful for that. Like I said, like this team turned me down earlier too. So like I said, like, it's not like I like a grudge or like I said, I'll take I would have took anything. So I'm definitely like, I was relieved. I heard like, yeah, we can pick you up. I was
So
like,
literally the last team of all of the teams that you had at message basically is the one that you ended up getting on. And it just so happened to be that your kind of like your first real teammate on the game was the coach of the team.
yeah.
So
and
it
like
like kind of goes full circle in a way.
I wouldn't say like call it like got me onto the team. Got me in the he got me in the door. You know, it's
Yeah,
finally
he got you the
I
tryout, but
finally
you
got into the.
impressed every. He got you. Yeah, he got you through the door. He got you the tryout, and then you impressed everybody else.
It's like it's like finally, you know.
Or or call out wanted to get you so bad that the only people you were trying out against was Nyx and fucking Prod. There's
No,
maybe he's in like a genius in that regard.
because there was a lot of tryouts, but then like they narrowed it down to players that would fit
They wanted like an
the
IGL
role.
kind of, right? Like they
Yeah,
wanted somebody with a voice. Yeah.
I'm sure you know I'm a very like loud person.
Mhm.
At least like I'm known in like an FPL. Like you can hear me a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm a very loud person when I play. And I just like to talk a lot too, so it's probably why they, you know, I just like to talk a lot.
So now that you've been on Astralis since I guess March or so, is that right?
February-ish.
February?
I think February, like, I don't know. They basically,
You guys have had like especially compared to the Disrupt roster that the team used to be. You guys have had like a lot of success. Maybe like obviously this at Berlin, you guys struggled. You know, start to this stage, you guys are struggling a little bit. But stage 1 and 2, you finished first place, and you almost won the major in Charlotte. So, like for you, when you joined Astralis, what did you expect? Like, and especially I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts on your guys' play style, because I think your play style, especially, and now funny enough, I feel like your play style has almost become like the meta in a way. But like the team, I think shocked a lot of people out the gate, like how you guys played.
I think so. Coming onto this team, like I was told, like by call, like these guys, my biggest thing with teammates was like teammates that want to win, like people who actually like want to, who are open minded and they
Mm-hmm.
aren't hard headed, like people who are like they're very they're very down about. Like, they're willing to buy in. You know, they're willing to like suppress the ego, take a step back, and like really like analyze what's going on. And like, okay, what are we doing wrong? How can we fix it? And what's the solution? You know, these guys are really receptive to like these guys. I came out, they were really receptive to that, and they still are. And it's like that's what the thing I've been kind of craving the most was like again like the original success was people who say they want it, then we actually go and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just here, it's like you know we're not perfect, but like we say we want it, then you know we have the mentality that we need to go fucking do it. You know,
Right.
we need to go do it now. And like that's like the mentality I think you need to have in any competitive environment because like you can only talk so much. You can only like you, know, you have to walk the walk. And I know people here, you know, like in NA, they love to talk instead of like walking the walk. And that's just the reality. And probably showing like why sometimes there's like lower ended teams and whatnot, and like lower ended players because like everyone says they want to grind, but then they don't actually grind. You know, in game,
Yeah.
out of game, and like in every aspect of their life. Because like me, like I'm usually just going to the gym, you know, doing our 12 to 8 here. Then by the now I'm playing like either ranked or something now or streaming. Like I'm you know just focused
I do feel like
entirely
in
just here.
yeah, I was gonna say I do feel like in NA especially, and I think you can even notice this in some of how performance has dropped off from certain players over time, is they don't do anything besides scrim. But at the end of the day, like most teams, especially if you're on a good team, you get paid a pretty good amount of money, you know? And it's hard to keep your spot in the league, especially because players seem to continuously being, you know, players are getting better. There are people who want it who are, you know, either they're 17, they're 18, and these guys are all coming for your job. And I think we started to notice, or at least I have from just like watching, honestly, a lot of people have started falling off just because they stopped getting better, and now all these other players keep getting better, or new better players come, and I think there's like some stat where there's like 30% of the league are rookies or something, like,
And,
you
and
know
they're and they're performing pretty well. They're outperforming
right.
most of
And
like
exactly, and I mean, we paid, I won't say the number, but we paid a lot of money to get a rookie. Newers was the MVP of the stage as a rookie. Rookies like are in a way like the difference makers in the league right now. And if that's not a wake up call to some of these people who, in my opinion, don't play as much as they should, who have kind of just, they think they have the, like, whatever it may be, the guaranteed spot, whatever they want to say. Nothing's guaranteed. The orgs have, and I will say this from a general manager like position, my loyalty is to the organization and to the team winning. If you fall off, you could be like, if you fall off, if you stop putting in the effort, then our loyalty to you will change, because our loyalty is to the team. It's not fair to the other players on the team who want to win if one player is not putting in the effort, that's not contributing to winning. And I feel like that wake up call is going to start coming to a lot of people on some of these teams, because you can look on CGG right now and keep an eye on it for the rest of the stage, but there are some names towards the bottom of that list that you're not used to seeing there, and there's a reason why they're towards the bottom of the list.
I think I'm down there.
Forrest, you're done. You're gone, buddy.
Yeah, but I think that's one of like the biggest things that like we recognize problems here, and then like we find like solutions, like we find like answers to that. So, you know, 2 losses obviously, you know, like I said, like we know what we need to do now, and we know like
You guys are also in a position to where, like, you're already qualified for invite, basically. There's like almost no way you don't qualify for
yeah, I
invite,
guess right
right?
now like yeah, the end goal for any team right now in the league is to win invite. Every team in the world that is the goal. That's the end goal is to win invite. But obviously because like you have to get your small wins somewhere, and you have to get like
Mm-hmm.
you have to get dubs somewhere else, or like we're just gonna go to invite and get fucking smoked.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously like we're always focused on the task at hand, and we're not thinking about the major. We're not even thinking about like invite. Invite's not even like that will happen if it happens. Like if it even happens. That's what I'm saying. Like
Right.
I'm not even thinking about that at all. I'm just focusing like in the moment, what needs to be done right now, and what can we do. And so we have like 4 weeks, whatever. We got time. We're just gonna just go back to the drawing board, revamp, reload, and like execute. And that's the best part of the team is like we can do that here. This could kind of be different for stage 2. We had our problems at the beginning, and then we locked in, finished out strong.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously, I'm not gonna say that we're better than everyone else because we're not. I think the team is very like even. It's all about like what happens on game day and like the
Yeah.
strategy at this point now. So now it's like, how can we be different? How can we be
Are
better
you
now?
worried at all? Um, and I won't take too much more of your time, but are you worried at all? Kind of how Berlin finished, where you guys did you guys win a game? I can't even remember
Yeah,
at Berlin.
we won a game, and then
Okay.
I think we got exposed in a good
So
way. Like,
does that like worry you in a way that you had like the bad Berlin, and then you start off this stage 0-2, and I think Mirage definitely look improved, but I mean obviously you probably expect to beat Mirage usually.
yeah,
Is that like something that's worrisome for you, or is
yeah.
it like motivation that you know that's just a couple losses, like the kind of team you are?
It's motivation and like just feel because we know like it's like we know what we need to do.
Yeah.
He's actually doing it now, and now it's just like it just makes the environment more competitive because now we need to get better. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it means that now we have to be that much better than everyone else. Because if everyone's caught up to us, then obviously we now need to get better again, right? That's like now we need to go further ahead of everyone else in every aspect.
Are we
I
gonna
know.
see Astralis in the next major?
I mean, you'll see Astralis that can say that they you know put their best foot forward. That's all I can really say.
That's a very political answer for us. Okay. Well, I think we're at 2.5 hours. I feel like we've really trekked through your career. So unless there's anything that you specifically feel like you wanted to touch on that we haven't, or that you wanted to say, I think we can call it there.
I mean, I don't. It's not really much other to say, but the whole Berlin thing, like I said, we just got exposed. It's good. It's good that we got exposed. Like people,
How do you feel like you were exposed?
like dudes were just outclassing us. Like
Because so if I'm not mistaken, in Charlotte, you guys played basically all NA teams and then EU.
yeah,
And then at Berlin, I will say, and this is not an excuse because we got shit on there too. The conditions for us spoiled Americans were fucking awful. I just will say that. Not an excuse, but like spoiled Americans, we don't fuck with that. What the conditions were there. But playing against like Elevate and teams like that, and I think Furia as well.
it's eye opening. It was literally like these dudes they're playing a different game. Like it's like
Exactly. Yeah.
I've always like heard people say that like they're playing a different game. I didn't believe it until like I've now felt it. Like they are playing. I'm not gonna say it's a better game, but I'm gonna say they're playing a different game.
It's a different one you're not used to playing, so
Different
it
I'm not used
works.
to, and like it works. And like, it's like
That's what I was trying to tell you about. Like, I don't know if you remember, but I told you like Elevate.
they're they're
You
they're,
you
they're
have
they're
to
playing
go
they're
against
playing a different game, bro.
you have to go against your instincts, and you kind of just have to like sit there. And those guys, they're playing ranked. Like they are just walking around and looking for picks. They're not really focused on doing much else.
And like I said,
And
like
it's weird to play against for sure.
I think me personally, I'm just like a sponge. Like I just take in a lot of information. I like to retain. I like to retain like what happened and what I can do better next time.
Yeah.
So moving forward, obviously, hoping we have a much better playoff, not playoff, like next play day, next few days. That's all I can really say about that. And
So you heard it here first. Forrest guaranteeing a major victory for Astralis this coming November.
no comment. I can't guarantee anything. All I can guarantee is I'll try my best.
That's good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, I think that's where we call it. So let me thank Forrest one last time for joining us for our 2.5 hour conversation. As always, the if Supr says it will be posted on YouTube later in the day, on Spotify, on iTunes. And if there's anything else you want to say for us,
Ah, you know,
to the stars.
to the stars and give Drip Bullen a tryout. Shout out Drip Bullen.
No, maybe not that last part, but to the stars.